Hi everyone and welcome to our course English for IT. But actually this course is designed not only for IT professionals but also for those who are just planning to start their career in IT and those who are working at a multinational IT company and need some more specific English knowledge. My name is Alexander and I've been professionally teaching English for more than 20 years, and I also have some experience in IT domain where I work at different IT companies as automation specialist, product manager and project manager. In this course I would like to summarize this experience and try to share it with you. I hope that the information contained here will be very helpful and interesting to you. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact me and I'll try to answer all your queries, all your questions on the same day or latest on the next day, so nobody will remain unanswered. I wish you every success in learning English, success in finding a job of your dream in IT domain, or successful development of your career in IT. So join in, jump in, have a good luck and stay with us. Hi, how are you? How it's going? Oh, beautiful weather, isn't it? So what I'm trying to do now? I'm trying to start a small talk with you. And today we're going to talk about the art of small talk. It is a very important art because it can be helpful almost in all situations. Some people are very straightforward, they don't like to waste their time and they prefer to go straight to business, like here.
Wait, yes, excusez-moi, Jordan. Swiss custom requires 10 minutes of blah, blah, blah.
Chit-chat.
Yeah, chit-chat, thank you, before business can be discussed. Yeah. Of course. Let's get down to it.
However, it is wise to start your conversation with a small talk, with a so-called small talk. So this is blah, 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 talking about nothing, to break the ice with the people you are talking to.
It's a joke. It's not that important.
You'll understand when you're in the fucking
Okay.
You need a bigger couch for guests.
Yeah. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
And here are some simple tips and tricks. First of all, let's have a look at our conversation starters, because for most people, breaking the ice is the hardest part in starting a conversation with someone you don't know. But after the ice is broken, everything else should come much easier. To start, first make the eye contact. Smile and make a greeting like, "Hi, how are you?" or "How it's going?" Then you can introduce yourself like, "Hi, I'm Alexander, what is your name?" The person you are talking to will answer something like, "I'm Jack. It's nice to meet you, Jack. Good afternoon." And after that, you can try to find a common topic that you can talk about. For example, if you are meeting someone in a conference room waiting for other people to come, you can ask, "What brings you here?" What brings you here? Or, is it your first time here? Or even, what are you here for? What are you here for? And now you can move on to the next part of your conversation. If you already know the person you meet, you can start by saying, "It's great to see you again. It's great to see you again." Or, "I haven't seen you for ages. I haven't seen you for ages." Or even, "Long time no see." A very simple way to start your conversation with someone you already know. "Long time no see." You can also ask, "How are things?" Or, "How is your family?" Or, "How is your business?" So showing the interest to the person you are talking to. And then you can try to find a topic for conversation, like, "Did you hear about?" Or, "I remember you were planning to." "I remember you were planning to," or "You won't believe it." You won't believe it, and then you can tell your story to the person you already know. And of course, a very good topic to start a blah 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 conversation is to talk about weather. Yeah, it's traditional, the best way to start your conversation. You can start by saying something like, "Oh, beautiful day, isn't it? Beautiful day, isn't it?" But if you are looking at the window and see that the day is not beautiful, or far from beautiful, you can say, "Miserable weather, isn't it? Miserable weather, isn't it?" If it's rainy, you can start by, "I haven't seen the rain like this in a long time." Typical for the UK. And if it looks like it's going to snow, or if it looks like it's going to rain, you can say, "It looks like it's going to snow. It looks like it's going to rain." And then you can move on to the main topic of your conversation. And another important point here, we have to know how to finish our conversation, how to close our conversation. And for this, we can use the following hands-on phrases. Oh, look, sorry, I really got to go, but give me your email. I'll drop you a line. Or you can say, I'm really sorry, but I have to leave now. Is it okay? I'll talk to you later. Or we'll talk later, yeah? Or you can say simpler, it was really great talking to you. We must catch up again soon. And at the end of this lesson, I can say, it was really great talking to you. We must catch up again soon. Now let's discuss how to make an effective self-introduction or how to make an effective self-presentation. Of course, for many of you, if even not for all of you, this topic may seem to be very simple. However, sometimes it is wise to be well prepared in advance, like, you can find yourself in a situation where you have to speak in front of a very big audience, like, you make a presentation at a professional conference in front of a very big audience, and you have to say a few words about yourself. Or you found the job of your dream and you have to meet with your new colleagues for the first time, and you have to tell about yourself. And what is more important, you are sitting in front of your interviewer at a job interview and have to make a short self-presentation. This situation can be very confusing, and if you are not well prepared in advance, you can feel nervous. It can spoil impressions of you for your interviewer or your audience. Like,
So tell me about yourself. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I like
So tell me about yourself.
So how to make an effective self-introduction? And these are some simple rules to follow. First, we have to greet our audience, greet our interviewer. Then we have to say our name and indicate our location. Next, we have to say a few words about our position and our company. At the end, we can recap by giving some extras, some information about your hobbies, interests, or even telling a short icebreaker joke. So to create a right atmosphere for the successful conversation. Rule number 1, we can use formal and informal greetings. Of course, if we are sitting in front of our interviewer, we use formal greetings at our job interview, like hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time of the day. If we are talking with our friends or colleagues, we can use hi, hey, what's up, or even what's good. These are informal greetings. Then we have to say our name and indicate our location, like my name is, I'm, or I'm. Or if you are speaking on a phone, you can say, this is Alexander speaking. This is Alexander speaking. I come from Germany, for example, for instance. I was born and raised in Hamburg. I was born and raised in Hamburg. If you were born in one place but then moved, you can say, I'm originally from, but now I'm based in. I'm originally from Germany, but now I'm based in LA. Next, you can say a couple of words about your company and your position. I work at Google. I work for Amazon. But please don't use in here. And you can say I work as an engineer, I work as a programmer, as a software developer, and so on. At the end, you can close your presentation by giving some information about your hobbies, fun facts, or even telling a short joke. I am a big fan of swimming. I'm fond of playing piano. And a short icebreaker. Like, people like to hear jokes about their pets, and we can say something like that. My email password has been hacked again. That's the third time I've had to rename my cat. Poor boy. Or you can find some other jokes from internet. However, you have to be very cautious because all the jokes must be appropriate to your audience and to your situation.
Vincent, do you want to hear my Fox Force 5 joke?
Sure. Except I think I'm still a little too petrified to laugh.
No, you won't laugh because it's not funny. But if you still want to hear it, I'll tell it.
I can't wait.
Okay. 3 tomatoes are walking down the street. Papa Tomato, Mama Tomato, and Baby Tomato. Baby Tomato starts lagging behind, and Papa Tomato gets really angry. Goes back and squishes him. Says, ketchup. Catch up.
Now let's look at an example of self-introduction. Hello or hi everyone, I'm Alexander and I've been professionally teaching English for more than 20 years. I'm originally from Germany, but now I'm based in LA. I work for Google as language instructor and I'm a big fan of swimming and I'm fond of playing guitar. Normally, I'm very happy and I'm in a very good mood, but not today. Today, I'm a bit sad because, my password has been hacked again. And that's the third time I've had to rename my cat, poor boy. So that's it. Of course, you can make your own presentation and you can use the following mind map. General rules. Greetings, your name and location, your position and your company, and then some extra information, icebreaker. You can use formal greetings like good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or informal greetings, hi, what's up, what's good. Then you can indicate your name and location like I'm plus name, or this is Alexander speaking if you are speaking on the phone. I come from, I was born and raised in, I'm originally from, but now I'm based in. I was born and raised in. I was born and raised in. I'm originally from, but now I'm based in. Then you can indicate your position and tell a few words about your company, like I work at, I work for, I work as. And give some extra information. I'm a big fan of, I'm fond of, and you can close your presentation with a short icebreaker, joke or funny facts. That's it. You can readily use these phrases to make a very successful and very effective self-introduction. Okay guys, now let's talk about our IT job interview and discuss the most common job interview questions and answers. And first, let's have a look at our common job interview questions. Question number 1. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. That is normally followed by the question, why should we hire you? Why should we hire you? Or, what are your salary expectations? What are your salary expectations? A very awkward question is, what are your strengths and your weaknesses? What are your strengths and your weaknesses? And your interviewer may also ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or even, why did you leave your last job? Why did you leave your last job? Your recruiter may also ask you, what do you know about our company? What do you know about our company? And you have to be prepared to make a short presentation. And at the end of your job interview, you may be asked something like that. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Now let's discuss all these questions one by one and try to find the best answers. Question number 1. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Or you can hear another variant of this question, please introduce yourself. Of course, you can tell that you have a very good family, lots of friends, lots of pets, hobbies and so on, but that is not the sort of information that your interviewer is expecting to hear from you. That's why we have to say first something like that. Well, as you can see from my resume, and then you can make a short overview of your resume. Here we can follow the so-called elevator rule. Just imagine you are in one elevator with your prospective investor, you have a project and need funds for this project. And you have only 40 seconds or 1 minute in this elevator to make a short presentation for your investor. When you are at your job interview, you find yourself in the same situation. You have only 1 minute to make a short presentation of your resume, starting from the oldest events and moving on to the newest one. So you have 1 minute to make a short presentation, and you can go through all the items of your resume. And at the end of your speech, you can summarize by saying something like, and that's what brings me here today and why I'm excited to learn more about this opportunity. The next question, a very straightforward one. Why should we hire you? Why should we hire you? First, we have to understand what stands behind this question. It means your recruiter may ask you, why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work here? Or what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Or even, what makes you the best candidate? What makes you the best candidate? And the answer may sound like, well, I understand your question. You are looking for someone who, and then you can go down the posted job requirements and rephrase them a bit, yeah? But don't forget to mention why you meet each of these requirements. The next very hard question to answer is, what are your salary expectations? The common rule here, avoid giving a single number. You can say instead, I need more details before I can give you an accurate answer on it. Or, if your interviewer insists and is expecting to hear an exact figure, you can answer, the salary range would be approved, right? What is the range? So you are asking the interviewer and he or she may give you a range of your future salary. Or instead of asking your interviewer, you can give a wide range. Like, I would need somewhere between 40 and 1,000 euros or dollar a year, depending on details. And here you can discuss these details, mention these details like fringe benefits, a corporate car, or business trips, or even long hours. And your salary will depend on these details. The next two questions, or two questions combined in one. Where are your strengths and your weaknesses? It's always hard to speak about your weaknesses, that's why we start with our strength. Look at the job requirements and mirror them in your answer, like, I have 5 years of experience in this role, or I am familiar with your software tool, or if you are not familiar with these software tools, or if you don't have experience enough, you can say, I have a degree in software engineering. I have a degree in software engineering, for example. Now let's move on to the weaknesses. Don't give a real weakness. It is better to use the following model instead. I do something good, but. I do something good, but. It can lead to something bad. It can lead to something bad. But then I do something good. I rectify this mistake, for example, and so I fix it. It is a very simple scheme. Let's look at the following example. I write many lines of code every day, so I don't have enough time to write comments. But it can be a problem for my colleagues who can try to read my code. That's why I write comments next morning when I check my code. A very simple way to speak about your weaknesses. The next question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And the best answer is, I see myself in this job. I see myself in this job. Or you can add, I expect to be advanced based on my job performance and likely taking some more responsibilities. So you are showing your interviewer that you are ready to do your best. Or you can answer quite simple. I would like to move ahead with your company. I would like to move ahead with your company. So your interviewer can see that you associate yourself with your company and you are on the same side with the interviewer. Why did you leave your last job? Why did you leave your last job? So don't try to lie. Speak frankly. If laid off, give a short explanation. For example, it may be due to downsizing, your expired contract term, and so on. And these are really lots of different reasons. If you left, say so. And you can may add something like, I'm ready to do more. I'm ready to do more. But never badmouth your previous employer. So never say anything bad about your previous employer, because your interviewer is your future employer and he or she doesn't want to hear anything bad about himself or herself when you leave this company. So never badmouth your employer. What do you know about our company? What do you know about our company? It's a very tough question, because if you are not prepared, it would be hard for you to answer this. So before going to job interview, you can scan the employer's website and you can get some hands-on information about products, service, industry, competitors, what makes difference, and so on. You have to be well prepared to make a short company's presentation. Like, imagine you are a salesman in this company and you are selling a product to your customer. But before you have to make a short company's presentation, make this presentation for your interviewer. At the end of your job interview, you can hear a question. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? You can ask your interviewer, what challenges do you see ahead for this role?
What challenges do you see ahead for this role? Or, what do you enjoy most about working for this company? What do you enjoy most working for this company? Or, can you describe a typical day in your company for someone in my role? Can you describe a typical day in your company for someone in my role? And your interviewer will give you some more information about your duties, about your responsibilities, and so on. And at the end you can ask, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? It means you are expecting some information about further steps, like we will call you back. It doesn't mean that they never call you back. Maybe they need some more time to interview other candidates, or your interviewer may give you some information when the final decision is made. Okay, let's look at some hands-on phrases that you can use during your job interview. When you arrive, you can say, hi, good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time of the day, and my name is, or I'm Chris Nader, for example, yeah? I have an interview scheduled with Jack Smith at 2 p.m. Or a longer version, I'm here for the 2 p.m. interview with Alex Smith for the assistant manager position. When you are meeting the interviewer may greet you by saying, hi Chris, I'm Alex, thank you for coming here. You can answer, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you, Alex. Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you, Alex. If your interviewer knows your name, you don't need to say, my name is Chris. If he or she doesn't know, you can say, my name is Chris. At the end of your job interview, you can say goodbye by saying the following phrases like, it was a pleasure meeting. I really appreciate your time today. I really appreciate your time today. Or, thank you for the great conversation. Thank you for the great conversation. It was great to hear more about this position. It was great to hear more about this position. Okay guys, that's all for today. Let's call it a day. I wish you successful job interviews so you can find the job of your dream.
Okay, now let's talk about the first stage of our work to find a job, because this process can be also described as a kind of work. It requires a certain amount of time and quite a lot of efforts. So our first stage is to create a good selling resume or CV and a cover letter attached. So there are lots of professions, there are lots of different fields of expertise. I wouldn't go through all the kinds of resumes of different types. I think it's better to look at ready templates, the so-called ready resume builders or CV builders, where you can prepare your resume in a very professional way. Of course, you can write your CV or your resume using templates in MC Word, or you can write it simply in Microsoft Word. But I wouldn't recommend you this method because many IT companies use the so-called resume screening systems, which help them to sort out some candidates that do not meet some specific criteria. And this system is also sometimes referred to as applicant tracking system, or ATS. Applicant tracking system is used to find the most appropriate candidate and track all the stages of hiring new candidates. And to pass these filters, you may use ready good selling templates of your resumes, which you can find on different resume builder platforms. You just need to add your initial source data and you can very quickly prepare a very professional resume. Here you can see 6 examples of different websites, of different platforms, resume builder platforms. I would recommend JobScan on the first place because this is the best platform which can optimize your resume so you can easily pass the HR filters. Here you can upload your ready resume to optimize, or you can create a new resume as you wish. You just need to add your name, the first name, email address, as well as other data, general information about yourself, your educational background, some additional information about your references, and so on. Okay, we can have a look at another resource. They say that only 2% of resume allows you to pass the filters used by HR departments. Thanks to this resource, you can be among these 2%. You just choose the template you like, and as a result we get this resume. We can also see another resource, Resume Monk, In principle, they are all the same. So you need to enter your data, enter your educational background, your skills, and then the system gives you a ready-made resume for a certain amount of money. You can choose what you like more. They are very similar in principle. As I already said, JobScan is the best option because it is specially customized to go through all the filters, but you can also choose some other options. Now let's talk about how the resume is structured. So what are the main building stones, the main sections, and what makes up a standard resume in English. And first of all, we need to include the heading on the top of our resume, the so-called header. And you can give here a title, or you can write the applicant's name to help you reduce the length of the resume, or you can put the word CV or resume at the beginning of your document. Then you can start with the next section, which is called personal information. This section will include the following information: the name, the first name. If you already used your name in the title, you don't need to repeat it. If you have middle names, it is not necessary to indicate all your middle names. You can indicate the date of birth. It's not necessary, but sometimes we indicate the date of birth, and it can be quite confusing when we write the date, because in American, in US tradition, it is customary to indicate first the month, then the date, and then the year. And in British tradition, we first indicate the day, then the month and the year. That's why I would recommend that we write our date with words. We can write the month with words, like, December 1st, 2023, just to avoid the confusion. The same story with our address. First we need the number of apartment, then city, postal code, country, and so on. Email address, and maybe some other contacts, but please don't forget to check your contacts that they are not misspelled, and so a person from HR can contact you, can reach you using these details, these particulars. You can also give here some information about your marital status, for example, single, married, have children, and so on, or divorced, but it is not necessary. And also you can include information about your nationality, where you come from, but this is not a mandatory field, because your employer assesses first your professional skills and your expertise. However, some employers believe that if a person has a family, children, he or she has some obligations, and they will try to perform well. Such person will try to stay in this job, to keep this new job and perform better. These are all stereotypes, and nevertheless sometimes it's wise to indicate, if you are married, that you are married. The next point is to give our job statement or our goals, career goals. Here you can write the name of the position, you can show the position you are applying for. For example, you can write here, I would like to take a position of a software engineer at your company. Next, we can give some information about our educational background, starting from the last place of education in reverse chronological order. It means first we indicate the periods at university, at college, then at school, some diplomas, academic degrees, if they are relevant for your desired position. The next section is your work experience. Here you need to include work periods, your positions, company names, and a short description of your position at this company, or your responsibilities and your achievements. You can also specify your tasks. It is better to indicate some numbers so your employer can better understand what you have really achieved. For example, due to my efforts, the system stability was improved by 2 times, the efficiency increased by 50%, the page load time decreased to 5 seconds, and so on. In other words, when describing your work experience, indicate how the work done by you has impacted the project, the product, or your team, or the entire business. If you don't have much experience, practical experience, you can put your education section on the first place and then your track record. In this case, you can find yourself in a more favorable position. Then you can go down to the description of your skills, and here you can mention hard skills as well as soft skills. So hard skills mean technical skills, and soft skills mean your social skills. And some people do not pay much attention to this point. They don't mention their soft skills, though they can be very important for your employer. You can add to your technical base, like programming languages, a description with information of the knowledge of foreign languages as soft skills. It helps you to stand out from your competitors. A study that LinkedIn conducted showed that 57% of employers value soft skills much higher than hard skills. Here you can be very cautious because your future employer, your recruiter, may test your technical skills and your soft skills as well. Yeah, like knowledge of some software tools or backend knowledge or good social skills and so on. At the end, you can add some extra information about your specific interests, about your hobbies, if they're relevant for your position, because it's better to indicate those hobbies and interests that can show your employer that your hobbies are in line with your professional interests. You can also give some references. It's not necessary to give in this section all names and phones of the person and all particulars of the persons who can recommend you. However, you can use just the phrase "information is available at request" or "further information is available at request." And of course, if you provide the references, those people who are indicated in this section, they should know, they should be aware that you are looking for a job and that you are applying for a certain position. Now, a recommendation about the wording which you can use in your resume, like, for developers, I can recommend that they can indicate some specific languages, their projects. You can add also a link to your GitHub projects. Nobody will check all your projects, nobody will check all your code lines. It could be good just to understand that you are a good specialist or expert in this field. This also should be relevant for this position. For example, you need to indicate those languages that are relevant for this position, that are in the job requirements. If you know Fortran, if you applied as an iOS developer, you don't need to know Fortran, or you don't need to indicate Fortran as programming languages. Unlike Swift, it is also not good to write some unnecessary information like "I've worked with Windows XP, MC Office or Excel," because everybody can do this, or not everybody, but most of us can do this. And some people indicate this information just to fill in the empty space in their resume. So to put it short, provide a link to your GitHub with your repositories in public domain so your employer can understand what you can do, the fields of your expertise. You can indicate the programming languages that you can use, that you know your soft and hard skills. When writing all this technology stack, be careful, check that they are really relevant and they are not misspelled. Okay, that's all with sections of our resume, and now let's have a look at the list of the key definitions related to this topic. CV and resume. What is the difference between the resume and the CV? CV is a detailed resume. The resume should be written on one page, and CV can have several pages with some more detailed information. Cover letter. Cover letter, which is typically attached to your CV or your resume. Job interview. ATS, Applicant Tracking System. ATS, Applicant Tracking System. Resume templates. Resume templates. Career statement or career objective. Career statement or career objective. Marital status. Married, single, divorced, widow. Married, single, divorced, widow. Work experience or track record. Work experience or track record. Skills. Soft skills and hard skills. And you can use the following phrases and verbs when describing your soft skills. Tech savvy. Tech savvy. It means you have a good knowledge of technical background. Highly motivated. Highly motivated. Energetic. Energetic. Creative. Creative. As for soft skills, we can also add such skills as analytical skills, attention to details, and multitasking. Analytical skills, attention to details, and multitasking. Hard skills. So the examples may be as follows: back-end development, backup management, cloud management. Interest relevant for the position of an IT developer. Artificial intelligence, robotics, traveling. References. Information available at request or upon request. Information is available at request. Now let's talk about some other hands-on phrases. Build customized websites to the highest specifications. Come up with solutions of seemingly intractable problems. Very hard problems, yeah? carry out routine maintenance, carry out routine maintenance, drive project forward, drive project forward. These are all examples of phrases that you can easily use in your resume. Okay, I think it's enough for today, and you can find attached some hands-on websites that you can use in preparation for your job interviews and when you make your resume, cover letter, and so on. You can find attached a list of sites where you can search for a job, as well as sites to compare actual salaries. There are also sites to pump up your resumes, to improve, to optimize your resumes, some resources to prepare for interview questions for a variety of fields of expertise, variety of professions, and at the end you can see some examples of mock interviews. You can find all this information attached to this video. Now let's discuss such topic as cover letter, because this is another step in preparing for your job interview. Some people don't think it is very important. They just repeat the information contained in their resume or in their CVs. However, your interviewer, your future interviewer, or your recruiter will read this cover letter first before he or she will look at your resume. And that's why it is so important to give all the necessary data in your cover letter. Let's look, for example, at the following cover letter. You can start with, "Dear hiring manager," if you don't know the name of the person who will read your cover letter, who will read your resume. If you know the name of the person who posted the job ad, so if you know the name of this person or manager, it's better to write this name in your cover letter. For example, "Dear Mr. Anders," or "Dear Mrs. James," or you can write simpler, "Dear colleagues." It's very neutral and it looks very smart. "Dear colleagues." First, you have to show your interest in the position posted on the ad. Like, "I'm writing to express my interest on the IT developer position recently posted on Monster.com." So you express your interest, and then you can go back to your background just in one line, like here. "Having a strong background as a developer and a Linux system administrator, I'm confident I would be good fit for your team." So you describe your experience, your background, and say that you are good for this position. Then you can give some more detailed information about your experience, like, "As a skilled programmer with more than 5 years of professional experience, I've been consistently complimented on my ability to architect large-scale scalable applications. I've been consistently complimented on my ability to architect large-scale scalable applications." So you give some more information about your very important skill to architect large-scale and scalable applications. Then you can tell a few words about your experience. "I have deep experience in a variety of computer languages and a history of developing web-based systems for the state government." So you show that you know how to develop systems for official organizations, plus you know many computer languages. That can be relevant for this position, for this particular position. "Since completing my bachelor's degree in computer science from," so you go back to your educational background first, and you can insert here the name of the university. Then you can add some words about your professional experience, like, "I have been employed at," and then you can give the company's name, "where I've been promoted 3 times." So you focus on your performance here, from entry to the mid-level developer, and you specify that now you are a mid-level developer. To prove your achievements, you add a link to your work. Like, "I've included a link where you can view tutorials I've created for," and then you can insert the company's name. "For examples of my work, please see the attached resume. If you would like to schedule an interview, please contact me at." So you are pushing your interviewer, your prospective interviewer, to schedule an interview, and you give some contact information, and namely your phone number, email, and so on. At the end, you say, "Thank you, sincerely," or "Best regards." Don't forget to repeat your name, your email address, your address if necessary, and your contact phone number. Now let's take, for example, another cover letter, IT support specialist. First, you can write once again, Dear Hiring Manager, or Dear Mr. Jones, or Dear Colleagues. Once again, you refer to the ad, like I read in your ad for a systems admin, that you were looking for someone with good communication skills and the ability to multitask. That you were looking for someone with good communication skills and the ability to multitask. So you refer to the job requirements. I know from my background of working at, then you refer once again to your background. Here you can insert the name of the company and the name of another company, that I can handle both with ease, So you can easily do this job, as well as complete projects on time and within budget. So you highlight that you are able to complete your projects on time and within budget, which is very important in our tough times. Now some more information, some more details about yourself. My background is in, you can insert here the name of the domain, having earned my knowledge through the, and here you can insert the name of the program. I have a lot of experience working with, and here you can give a program, a software, or even a system, yeah? I'm comfortable working with any operating system and application you can throw at me. So you are showing that you have no fear of any job. I also have strong skills in documentation and project management. So you go down to your skills, because it's important to make sure that our customers are happy. You see the word our customers. So you already associate yourself with the company and you think of the customers of this company. They are happy. Not just today, but 5 years down the road. 5 years down the road. So you show that you can think ahead. It's another good skill. It's another very good ability. So I'm confident that I can hit the ground running with your company. You associate yourself once again with the company and you promise that you can make a great contribution to the success of the company. For further information, please feel free to call me at or email at. And here you can give your contact details. Sincerely, once again, name, email, address, contact number. You can find attached to this video many other examples of cover letter for different positions, for different occupations, so you can choose what meets your expectations and your requirements. Hopefully, this lesson gave you a few ideas for your next cover letter, but please keep in mind that best letters are tailor-made. So first, do your research on the company and try to use some of their language, the language that they use, so you can make it clear that you understand what they do and how your skills match their needs. And at the end, you are already ahead of the competitors. So you can use all these phrases in your cover letter, and don't forget to follow these tips. Now let's listen to 6 people introducing themselves. After that, we have to answer the following question. What jobs do they do? What jobs do they do? And we have to complete the sentences using our words and phrases here. Database administrator, help desk supervisor, project manager, software developer, support technician, and systems analysts. And the first one is...
Hi there, I'm Maria. I have a great job. I write software for the company's computers.
And Maria is... Who is Maria? Right, Maria is a software developer. Maria is a software developer. The next one.
2. Hi, I'm Ahmed. I supervise a team of technical support people. When our customers have a problem, we help them to get things working again.
And Ahmed is a... Right, Ahmed is a help desk supervisor. The next one.
3. Hello. Freddie here. I work for XBM Technology. I'm responsible for our IT projects. I have to plan projects and make sure they're finished on time, and also that they don't cost too much money. It's a very stressful job.
A very stressful job. And Freddie is... Right, Freddie is a project manager with a very stressful job. The next one. Hannah.
4.
My name's Hannah. Hi. I look after all the computers in the company's offices. I set up new computers, install software, and generally keep everything working. And if someone has trouble with their computer, it's me who has to diagnose the problem and fix it. Oh, my job title, I'm a support technician.
And at the end, she said her job title, she is a support technician. Hannah is a support technician. And the next one.
5. Hiya, my name's Timothy, but most people just call me Tim. In my job, I design databases, then develop them, and later maintain them.
And Tim is who is Tim? Responsible for databases of whatever job related with this databases, and he is a database administrator. And the last one, Sophie.
6.
Hello, I'm Sophie. I have a very interesting job. When a company wants us to write software for them, I visit them and find out exactly what they need. Then I write specifications for the software. Our software developers then write the software to match the specifications. My job title is Systems Analyst.
And Sophie is a systems analyst. She said on the end, my job title is
Systems Analyst.
Now let's listen to the story once again and then complete these collocations. Like this is number 3, yeah, this is our exercise number 3. Or for example, you write software. So you can do the same with all other verbs, with all other collocations. Okay, listen again and complete these collocations.
Unit 1. Working in IT. Recording 2. 1.
Hi there, I'm Maria. I have a great job. I write software for the company's computers.
2. Hi, I'm Ahmed. I supervise a team of technical support people. When our customers have a problem, we help them to get things working again. 3.
Hello, Freddie here. I work for XBM Technology. I'm responsible for our IT projects. I have to plan projects and make sure they're finished on time, and also that they don't cost too much money. It's a very stressful job.
4.
My name's Hannah. Hi. I look after all the computers in the company's offices. I set up new computers, install software, and generally keep everything working. And if someone has trouble with their computer, it's me who has to diagnose the problem and fix it. Oh, my job title, I'm a support technician.
5.
Hiya, my name's Timothy, but most people just call me Tim. In my job, I design databases, then develop them, and later maintain them.
6.
Hello, I'm Sophie. I have a very interesting job. When a company wants us to write software for them, I visit them and find out exactly what they need. Then I write specifications for the software. Our software developers then write the software to match the specifications. My job title is Systems Analyst.
Okay, here we are, and together we can check your answers.
1.
Hi there, I'm Maria. I have a great job. I write software for the company's
Software, here we have an example, yeah?
company's computers.
2. Hi, I'm Ahmed. I supervise a team of technical support people.
I supervise a team of technical support people. A team of technical support people.
When our customers have a problem,
When our customers have a problem, yeah? Right.
3.
Hello, Freddie here. I work for XBM Technology. I'm responsible for our IT project.
I am responsible for our IT projects.
I have to plan projects and make sure they're finished on time, and also that they don't cost too much money. It's a very stressful job.
4.
My name's Hannah. Hi. I look after all the computers
I look after all the computers. I look after all the computers.
in the company's offices. I set up new computers, install software, and generally keep everything working. And if someone has trouble with their computer, it's me who has to diagnose the problem and
Diagnose the problem, yeah? It's me, you have to diagnose the problem. Diagnose the problem is the right answer.
fix it. Oh, my job title, I'm a support technician.
5. Hiya. My name's Timothy, but most people just call me Tim. In my job, I design databases.
I design databases, and the right answer is databases, yeah? Right.
Then develop them and later maintain them.
And later maintain them.
6.
Hello, I'm Sophie. I have a very interesting job. When a company wants us to write software for them, I visit them and find out exactly what they need. Then I write specifications.
Then I write specifications. Write specifications for software.
Our software developers then write the software to match the specifications. My job title is Systems Analyst.
Okay, that it. And now try to describe each of the jobs. Try to describe this in 3 or 4 sentences. What does this specialist normally do? Yeah, what does the specialist normally do? Like, support technician is responsible for. And you can use phrases that we completed here. Okay, guys, now you know lots of theoretical information how to write a good selling CV, and the only thing that we need is to have some more practice. Now let's try to write our own CV using these templates, where we have to indicate the following information: our education and training, main activities and responsibilities, organizational skills, personal information, personal skills, position held, subjects occupational skills covered, technical skills, title of qualification awarded, and work experience. So we can use this template and write all the necessary information, like here. First name and surname, then address, phone number, email, and you can also indicate some more information like your social media links, for example, an LinkedIn link. After that, you can give some more information about your track record, about your work experience. First, you have to write the dates 2011 till present, then the position held, IT support technician, and then some information about your responsibilities and about your role, like provide support to customers of my company's networking products, both wireless and wired, diagnose problems and suggest solutions. This is a kind of description of your responsibilities. And at the end, you can write the name and address of your employer: Agoda Digital Ltd, Garside Industrial Estate, Sunderland, UK. If you had more than one employer, you can indicate all the employers starting from the last one and moving on to the first one. Yeah. After that, you can give some information about your educational background. First, the dates like 2009 and 2011. Then you can give the name of your diploma and name and type of organization providing educational training, like here, BTEC National Diploma for IT Practitioners, System Support, and the skill that you have: IT Technical Support, Customer Service, Networking, Wireless and Wired, Hardware Installation, and then the name of the college where you studied, yeah, and the address. After that, you can give some information about your personal skills and competences, your mother tongue or your native language, like here Hindi or German or French, and so on. And then you can add some details about your skills, and here you can use the following hands-on phrases: I'm a good team player at work. I work well with people from many different backgrounds. People find me friendly and easy to work with, and I understand other people easily. I enjoy helping customers. And then you can give some more details, like I often prepare my team's schedules. When problems happen, I often make useful suggestions. I have good problem-solving skills. I am very organized. This helps me to work efficiently. I enjoy taking responsibility. These are more soft skills, and you can continue with your hard skills, like setting up both wired and wireless networks, including Wi-Fi, diagnosing problems in networks, server administration of both Linux and Windows operating systems. And some people may ask whether they need to give information about their hobbies, and here we can see a very good advice from a former HR director. Hobbies on your resume, yes or no? And my answer is yes. 2 clients laughed out loud at my suggestion. They said, "This is not Facebook," or "I'm not in school." Okay, but I'm not talking about generic stuff like reading, cycling, cooking, running. The gold is in the specifics, right? And this helps you to stand out. What is more important here, yeah? To stand out. And this is the reason why you can indicate information about your hobbies. What is the purpose of your resume? To explain your background and create a connection with the recruiter so you are called for an interview. So here's my approach. The hobby needs to be either achievement oriented, like competed in the Ironman triathlon in 2016 and 2017. Or enjoy languages, can speak English, Spanish, French and Hindi fluently, thereby can converse with approximately 1/3 of the world's population. Or just simply fun. Enjoy baking, probably bake the world's most delicious brownie. Or absolutely devoted to my weekly 10,000 runs since 2006, come rain, shine or snow. And those same clients who laughed got called for an interview, and the hiring manager mentioned specifically, "I saw that you went couch surfing in Thailand. Nice. I love my time in Koh Samui." It means the applicant succeeded in establishing a good connection to the recruiter. What lessons do we have here? It is an overcrowded labor market. You have to stand out. Recruiters are people. Make a connection beyond the serious blah blah. And we can see here another opinion from a vice president and compliance officer of a very big company. I once read on a candidate's resume, he loved kayaking and Legos. I recalled talking to a colleague about how weird the Lego thing was, and my colleague commented, "At least he's interesting." And I added, "and memorable." So it means you have to be memorable for your recruiter. Now you have enough information to start with writing your own CV. And by the way, you can not only write your own CV for your own position, but also have some more practice writing CVs for different positions, like here in the ad. We can see here an ad from a global IT consultancy company providing customized software and hardware solutions to business clients around the world. And they are opening a new office and need up to 40 new people with a wide variety of technical IT skills. And they need people for the following positions: systems administrator, web developer, software developer, project manager, systems analyst, help desk technician and database administrator. You can choose whatever you like. You can choose 1 or 2 of these positions, or maybe all of them for straight A students, and write CVs for all these positions, as many as you can. Okay, you can start now, and I wish you good luck. Now let's have a look at an example of a real job interview when the applicant on the right side applies for the position of a data scientist at an IT company. Let's try to understand the overall content and the specifics, and I'll give you some explanations where necessary. Okay, here we go.
Welcome. How's it going today?
It's good. How are you?
First of all, the interviewer, this boy, and the interview, the applicant, this girl, they greet each other.
I'm doing pretty well. Weather's not been too bad, so I can't really complain. Exciting to meet you. Exciting that you're interviewing for this team.
Great to meet you too.
We've been looking for someone to fill this role for the past couple of weeks, and I know excited by your resume and just excited to learn more about you and kind of walk you through the task that we'll be solving today. So I guess to start off,
Okay, and this is the first part, the introductory part, when the interviewer said that he is excited about the interview and he wanted to get some more details.
Curious, I read your resume, but just tell me a little bit more about yourself and I guess what you're looking for in your next opportunity.
And now the most popular question, just tell me a little bit more about yourself. Tell me about yourself, right? Okay.
Your next role.
Yeah, so...
And she starts her self-presentation.
So I finished my master's and undergrad from MIT. I was doing a lot of electrical engineering, computer science, along with physics. And in my next role, I'm just looking for something more quantitative, something intellectually stimulating, and, you know, just somewhere I can learn a lot.
Okay, she said about her background, about her educational background.
So I saw this job and I thought I'd apply because based on the job description, it just sounded like everything that I wanted, you know?
And she shows her excitement because everything that is written in the job description is quite well and appropriate to her background, and it's exactly what she is looking for.
Definitely, and honestly, from my experience, like, we have a really hardworking team. We're working on hard problems, exciting problems, so definitely like fits that category.
I was very interested in AI and robotics, and I just really wanted to be able to just someday create Jarvis.
And she explains that she was really interested in robotics, in that kind of field, and she gives some more information about her interests and about her field of expertise.
Like to have the tools to create Jarvis, and which, by the way, is Tony Stark's superhuman AI. And so I thought, you know, with computer science, I would be able to have the programming, the AI part of that. But then also with EE, I would be able to literally build the Iron Man suit, which would be pretty cool.
Okay, so I guess before we get into like kind of the real bulk of this interview, I mean, I think you kind of hit on it a bit with that, but I'm curious to just dig into this a bit more. So, I mean, in the past year or two, even just really like past like 6 months, there's been a ton of developments in the artificial intelligence, machine learning space. I'm just curious if there's anything that kind of sticks out to you that you're particularly excited about, and if so, like what that is and what excites you about that.
And the interviewer asked the question, what particularly excites her about that, about the artificial intelligence and the latest developments in this field, because it is related to her future job.
Yeah, so I definitely think that what everyone's talking about right now is like ChatGPT, right? Because it's super disruptive. Everybody's like Googling how to write their essays or how to code up this, you know, something script, which is awesome. But I would say that, you know, this AI stuff, I mean, I'm super interested in it, but more specifically, I think I'm really interested in reinforcement learning and just getting...
And she tells about her particular interest.
A computer to beat humans at certain things, or robotics in the sense of like self-driving cars. I think that's really interesting, being able to teach a robot how to interact and basically do what a human would do. Also things like superhuman chess AIs or superhuman poker AIs. I think that's all really cool because it's beating humans at a game that you would think, you know, is only for humans. Like poker is built on psychology, math, and randomness. You would never expect there to be this like Nash equilibrium, like optimum solution, right? But there is, which is really cool.
Yeah, it gets really, really interesting when you combine the psychology element of the human experience with machines, with AI. And I think that from my experience, that's something that's often overlooked, and it kind of bothers me that it's overlooked because it's so important to the concept of artificial intelligence if it's going to be that intelligent. So
they speak about the artificial intelligence, and she is particularly interested in the field where the artificial intelligence can beat the humans. So in the field that combines psychology and high tech, and AI. For example, poker, because it is a combination of math and psychology, or chess, and it's a very interesting, very promising area.
Yeah, definitely. I think those things are super exciting. Awesome. Let's switch gears, and I guess to give you a little bit of context, my name is Geeth.
And now our interviewer tells a few words about himself.
Callie, I'm a senior data scientist here on the team. So, you know, the question that we're going to kind of present is something that we're actively looking at here. So this is kind of the task right now. So you're working as a data scientist on the team here at Gwitter.
And now our interviewer gives a case study which will include a number of tasks to resolve.
Our CEO, Mr. Elon Musk, has been complaining a lot recently, and we're a social media site, maybe similar to something that you might be aware of. But our CEO has been complaining a lot recently about the serious bot issue that's kind of infiltrated our site, or he kind of has.
And the issue is serious issue, bot issue, right? Infiltrating their sites, yeah?
A serious issue that we want to look at, we want to mitigate and solve. So some things that these bots are causing some issues are, they're quickly responding. When our CEO posts, and within a minute there's hundreds of replies promoting some sort of site, some sort of program, some sort of money scheme. So there's bots that are doing these quick postings. There's coordinated bots that are all over the the ecosystem that are sharing propagandist messages and sharing fake news messages. So that's a little bit of context, I guess. Before I dive into some of the specific kind of guided questions, does that make sense? What I kind of presented? And I guess first off, a question to you, just kind of this is not really a data science question, but do you have any thoughts on other issues bots on this social media site might cause, and things that we should be thinking about when we're investigating this issue?
Yeah, so I definitely think that obviously bots are annoying, right? Like nobody wants to be tagged in a million things. Nobody wants their entire notifications to just be bots spamming them, right? And I also think that bots take away from the real conversations that might happen on this platform. So to reiterate, your question is, I guess the current issue that you're trying to solve is that there are all these bot attacks and...
Okay, she repeats her question once again before she will give a solution.
Immediately after posting, things get really crowded with these coordinated messages and spam messages, and you're asking what else?
Yeah, this is an exploratory question. I'm just curious, and it's not really data science, it's more platform driven. I'm just curious,
right.
Pick your brain and see if you have any other ideas of potential issues with having serious, bot issues.
Yeah. Well, I just think that it I think bots are there to target a specific group, right? All these money-making schemes, do you really think that they're making money, or is it just trying to scam people? And I know that especially in a lot of the crypto world, there's a lot of bots that might just be links to these fraudulent sites, which end up draining your wallets or stealing your NFTs, or I don't know, all these different malicious schemes. And so that's definitely one reason why bots are bad, right? Because it's not just that it's crowding things, it's also that your users are literally being the ones scammed off of, and that does not create a good reputation for your company.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. And, obviously that's what we're trying to avoid. So also, I'm going to get into more guided questions, but also given this context and just, your background as a data scientist, do you have any initial thoughts about the problem? Anything that immediately sticks out?
Now the interviewers would like to know the specific solution, specific proposals from our applicant.
You would want to investigate about, this high level, I guess, issue. And we'll dive into, guided stuff, but I just kind of also want to just gauge your high level, thoughts on the situation.
By thoughts on the situation, do you mean just what my first thoughts are on how I would tackle this problem?
And the applicant requests for a clarification.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I definitely think that with these bots, you mentioned a few different things, right? That it's coordinated, that it seems like they're filling up immediately after a post has been posted. It seems like, there might be links to certain things or certain themes that the attacks are always about. And so I would start maybe investigating a bunch of these things and trying to figure out certain features of these attacks or these spam messages that might be able to, for us with certainty, say whether or not this is a spam bot attack.
Yeah.
And I also think that, you know, there are certain other attributes, such as if they tag a ton of people, right? Or if a single account posts multiple times, or maybe the account follows a ton of people but nobody follows them. I think these could all be certain traits of a spam bot. And when you have multiple of these things in conjunction with one another, then that strengthens the case that this might be, you know, spam. So I think that those are all different things to consider, and maybe we can train a model based off of that to classify whether or not a message is spam. Okay.
The screen, I have two screens open. I switched the screen.
And now our interviewer will share his screen, and she has to write down her solution.
You know how it is. So can you see that on Zoom?
Yeah.
Cool. What are some features we should investigate? So I labeled the question as what are some features we should investigate. You can kind of interpret that as you will. Just basically, let's just drill down and just get some bullet points maybe of some of the things you just mentioned, just because I think that'll be helpful for reference throughout.
So here we have a very specific question that the applicant has to answer.
Yeah. So I definitely think that when you look at some bot attacks, I think that there's probably a few main things to look at, but the two that stand out to me are the content of the specific post. So content of the post, and then as well as the person or the account that's actually making the post. So I think in terms of content of the post, these are things such as how many people do they tag? How many tags? Or for example, timing of the post, or words mentioned in the post. What are other things? Maybe links, maybe images. Let's see, what else? When I make a post, I type something, send it out, maybe tag. By tags I mean accounts tagged, but also I think like keyword tags could also be another thing to look at.
Okay, so like hashtags versus accounts tags.
Yeah, sorry.
Versus, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, hashtags. So I think that covers a lot of like what would be in a post, and then the account making the post, we might want to see like how many followers they have, maybe the number of accounts following or followed. So followers and following. And I think maybe like looking at a ratio between that might be a good idea as well.
Say that one more time. I missed that.
Maybe like the ratio between like the number of accounts that they follow and then how many followers they actually have. I also think that if you want to look at the followers, maybe who the followers are, because for example, if we've already labeled a few accounts as specific spam accounts, then if one account's followers are completely spam accounts that we've already labeled, then it's very likely that that account itself is a spam account, right? So are the followers spam accounts?
Cool.
Okay, that was the answer. Very specific, very detailed, and I think that the interviewer is happy with this answer.
I think that's all I have on this prompt. This was an enjoyable discussion. I think it's interesting to think about. I think there's a lot of different avenues you could go. So I know we're running up on time. I do want to just, I guess, quickly pause and just see if you have any questions for me before we kind of
And the interviewer is ready to answer the applicant's questions, if any.
Include this interview?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just wondering, like, what are your favorite and least favorite aspects of, your role as a data scientist?
And she asked what are the interviewer's favorite and less favorite aspects of this role as data scientist. So she mirrors the situation to the interviewer.
At this company so far?
Yes, I think the big one is, I mentioned it at the start of the interview, is just the team. The team is really impressive. It's a diverse set of backgrounds, both people, PhD type people from Harvard, MIT, but also just some really, really brilliant, self-educated, kind of just learn this stuff on their own, bring a different perspective to the table, people that are on this team. So, from my perspective, one of my biggest goals, in this role is I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to develop, certain skills that I have, like I come from a natural language processing background, I can apply those skills, but I don't have as much of that systems background. I don't know how to, deploy this on a production scale. So, what I enjoy.
And now he says exactly what he enjoys most in this role.
Most I think about this role is just the opportunity to gain, those insights, just learn from people that have expertise and skill sets I don't, because I think that is helping me become a more well-rounded, member of the team.
Awesome. And how long have you been working there so far?
I think this is my 5th year, so,
Yeah, awesome. Because my follow-up question was going to be like, what opportunities for growth are there like within the company?
And the next question from our applicant, what are the opportunities for growth within the company? A very good question.
And how does the company support that growth?
And how does the company support this growth?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things. I think just in general, from being in a team environment where there's a lot of just driven people that want to know the latest, the state of the art, like sometimes it just naturally kind of comes out during lunch discussions and whatnot. Some people are working remotely, some are at, the office. But, both channels, like, if I'm at the office, we go out and, some of this just the discussions just happen naturally, at lunch, or we sometimes host remote kind of like, Zoom lunches where we all kind of just hang out and, chat about things. So that's like kind of an informal way. From a formal perspective, like we try to, make sure that everyone that's here is happy.
Awesome. And then for my final question, just how, like, what would my first maybe 6 months kind of.
A very good question about the further onboarding. Yeah, very good question from the interviewed.
Look like? What would be some of the projects that I'm working on look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the most important things from my perspective for anyone joining the team is we don't want to have new team members be siloed. We want to make sure that they are exposed to what we have kind of out there on not just my team, but surrounding teams. So a couple of things that you'll be kind of doing is, first off, you'll be assigned immediately upon arriving a mentor that can kind of help guide you, and you'll specifically, like, this is a role for my team, so like they would be kind of introducing you to our systems, walking you through the code base, introducing you to the other people on the team. So one of the big things is, like, you have this mentor that's kind of there to guide you every step. But another important point is, like, we try to make sure you get one-on-ones with everyone on the team within the first month, approximately, at least within our small team. So, like, you get to meet everyone on the team, you get introduced to the code base. So it's really just kind of getting warmed up, getting comfortable, seeing things. Yeah. Probably, end of month 1 to, like, month 3, a big part of it will be, tackling some kind of more entry-level tickets on the systems, really get your hands dirty, plug in, and they won't be the most complex. You won't be designing a system from scratch, but taking our existing systems, ironing out some bugs, all of that, get more comfortable.
Right.
And he explained the onboarding procedure and the tasks she has to tackle during the first month. It's like, she don't need to be afraid. She don't need to develop a new system from scratch. Rather, she will fix bugs and she will have a mentor who will help her go through. This all means that the company has an onboarding plan and the company supports the newcomers, the new employees.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, awesome. Well, I don't have any other questions.
Awesome. So I think
So she has no more question, and now the interviewer will tell a few words about the next interviews, next steps and procedures.
Steps from here is there's going to be a software engineering interview, so that will test more of your Python skills, and then also likely will be like a behavioral interview as well, where just gauge a little bit more of your career interest and all that. So next steps, you'll hear back with us in the next few days probably, and we'll go from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and nice meeting you, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that is with this interview. You may have noticed that they didn't speak about any fringe benefits, about the salaries and so on, because I think this is because the initial interview, the first one with this senior expert, and she has to go through some other interviews with tech specialists who will check her knowledge of Python and other technical skills, and maybe some other interviews. And after that, during the final or before the final interview, she'll get a job offer with all the information inside. So I hope you enjoyed this interview, and you can use this to get some more ideas, some more inspiration before you go to your real job interview. Now let's discuss our next topic, daily routines and teamwork. Daily routines and teamwork. And we can say first, I start my day by checking emails and responding to various requests. I start my day by checking emails and responding to various requests. After that, I join our morning team meeting to discuss our ongoing tasks. After that, I join our morning team meeting to discuss our ongoing tasks. During the day, I collaborate with my colleagues on coding tasks and bug fixes. In the afternoon, I read technical reviews and write my comments. In the afternoon, I read technical reviews and write my comments. Sometimes I participate in brainstorming session to come up with new product ideas. Sometimes I participate in brainstorming session to come up with new product ideas. At the end of the day, I save my work down and make plans for tomorrow. At the end of the day, I save my work down and make plans for tomorrow. That is, now let's have a look at the distribution of roles within a team, within a project. And on the top we can see our client or customer or product owner. They are all stakeholders. It means those people who define the project, who define the core requirements, and who normally initiate this project. Product manager. Our product manager is responsible for the implementation of this project requirements, and as for the requirements are described by business analyst and subject matter expert. It means these are two specialists who are in charge of defining specifications and requirements for our project. Usually, business analyst describes business requirements for the project, and subject matter expert describes technical requirements, and he or she is also sometimes referred to as technical expert. And based on these requirements, our solution architect plans the overall solution for this project, so describes how the project is organized and how it is architectured. And after the solution architect have prepared our architecture, project architecture, it is implemented by specialists, for example, developers, designers, and then testers who are in charge of quality assurance. So this is an overall structure of our roles within the project. Now a couple of words about the workflow, how it is structured and how it is organized within an IT company. And first of all, we have to think of our team, who will be at the very center, at the very core of this workflow. We also need some strategy which ensures our productivity, and some planning that will define our business activities, allocation of our resources, and building our communication. All these procedures, steps, resources, and for this we need to use a proper documentation. In IT companies, workflow is normally broken down in a number of sprints. So So the whole project timeline is organized or broken down into different smaller time intervals called sprints, and each sprint is a kind of a product or project increment. So it means we implement our product by a number of sprints, by a number of increments. Within the sprint we can hold daily and weekly meetings, and at these meetings we can share some demos, some examples of our product implementation, and so on. We can also make a retrospective meeting to assess the progress. And at this meeting we can define our backlog. It means a list of tasks for the next sprint. Backlog, what we need to do next. Now let's have a look at our useful phrases for collaboration in teams. And the first one is, this week our task will be, or this week your task will be, this week your task will be. I'm working now at, I'm working now at. We can start with, this sprint is to develop, this sprint is to develop. Do you need any? Do you need any? Feel free to ask me. Feel free to ask me. I'm always here if you want to. I'm always here if you want to. Thank you for your feedback. We will make necessary improvements. Thank you for your feedback. We will make necessary improvements. Your feedback is valuable. I appreciate your suggestions. Your feedback is valuable. I appreciate your suggestions. And at the end we can say it was an awesome job. It was an awesome job. Let's have a closer look at all these phrases. At the very start of our meeting we can say, this week our tasks will be, or this week your task will be, for example, fixing all your bugs. This week your task will be fixing all your bugs. Your supervisor or your colleagues may ask you, what are you working now at? And you can answer, now I'm sitting here and wasting your time, or now I'm sitting here and waiting for my salary to come. Of course, these are all jokes, but seriously, you can say, I'm working now at a new code. I'm working now at a new code. Or you can say, I'm working now at a new design. I'm working now at a new design. Or even, I'm working now at our plans for the next sprint. I'm working now at our plans for the next sprint. And we can start with a cup of coffee. A very good start of the new day and a very good start of a new meeting. This sprint is to develop. This sprint is to develop a new section of our project. Or this sprint is to develop our front end. Or this sprint is to develop an overall concept. You can ask your colleagues during the meeting, do you need any? Do you need any help? Or do you need any assistance? Do you need any assistance? Or do you need any clarifications? And you can add, feel free to ask me, feel free to ask me, or I'm always here if you want to. I'm always here if you want to ask me any questions. At the end of the meeting, you can thank your colleagues for any feedback they've given to you. If there are any improvements needed, you can say, thank you for your feedback, we will make necessary improvements. Thank you for your feedback, we will make necessary improvements. If your colleagues make any suggestions, you can say, your feedback is valuable, I appreciate your suggestions. Your feedback is valuable, I appreciate your suggestions. And at the very end of every meeting, you can say, it was an awesome job. It was an awesome job. Actually, this word awesome was understood to mean something that is not very good, something that is ugly. Now this word is used in a positive sense, like it was an awesome job, it was a great job. And if the job was not awesome, you can say, as the English Queen used to say, we are not amused. We are not amused. It sounds like a joke, but never mind. You can use all these hands-on phrases for collaboration in your teams, and I hope that they will be very helpful for you, and you can say at the end of your lesson, it was an awesome job. It was an awesome job. Okay, now let's listen to an employee telling his new manager about his job. What do you think his job is? And this is exercise number 8 here. Okay, please listen and try to understand what his job is.
Unit 1. Recording 3.
Hi, Robert. Just to help me understand what you do, could you tell me about your daily routine?
Well, every day is different, but generally I arrive at work at about 8:30, go straight to my desk and check my emails. I usually have a few of them. I reply to as many as I can, but by 9, when most of the office staff arrive, my phone generally starts ringing.
So, how do you actually help people?
It depends. I normally try to visit people at their desk, but occasionally problems come in from salespeople while they are out visiting customers. Problems with their laptop, for instance. Then I have to solve the problem on the phone or by remote access. This isn't very common, though.
And what else do you do?
Well, from time to time, I have to attend meetings with managers and talk about our IT systems. And a few times every year, I speak to visitors who are selling equipment we might want to buy. I hardly ever go out to visit them, though. Just once when I went to the local computer shop for a cable because we couldn't wait for delivery.
Okay, and what do you think his job is? I think he is an IT service technician who has to help other employees to solve their problems with their laptops, with their internet connections, and so on. Now let's listen all together again, this short story about the daily routines of Robert, and tick the things that usually happen. And the first one, Robert checks emails, usually, as a rule, every day.
Hi, Robert. Just to help me understand what you do, could you tell me about your daily routine?
Well, every day is different. But generally, I arrive at work at about 8:30, go straight to my desk and check my emails.
Okay, at 8:30 he arrives at his work, goes straight to his desk and checks emails. Right, here we can tick. Robert checks emails.
I usually have a few of them. I reply to as many as I can, but by...
Robert has emails waiting for him. I usually have a few of them. Okay, Robert has emails waiting for him. It's right here. Okay, it's right. We can tick number 2.
By 9, when most of the office staff arrive, my phone generally starts ringing.
So, how do you actually help people?
It depends. I normally try to visit people at their desk, but occasionally problems come in from salespeople while they are out visiting customers.
He says, I normally try visiting people at their desks. So normally. It is usually. Okay, we can also tick here, usually, but sometimes there are some problems coming from salespeople, yeah? Okay?
Problems with their laptop, for instance. Then I have to solve the problem on the phone or by remote access.
Salespeople have problems. Yeah, sometimes they have problems with their laptops, for example, yeah?
This isn't very common, though.
But this isn't very common, though. This isn't very common, though. It means it is not usually. Yes, they have problems, salespeople have problems, but the question is usually, yeah? And it means we don't tick this point. Salespeople have problems, but this is not very common.
And what else do you do?
Well, from time to time, I have to attend meetings with managers.
Robert attends meetings, right? He attends meetings, but from time to time. So not usually. From time to time, it doesn't mean usually. That's why we don't tick this point. So it is also empty. Robert attends meetings from time to time, not usually.
And a few times every year, I speak to visitors who are selling equipment we might want to buy. I hardly ever go out to visit them, though. Just once when I went to the local computer shop for a cable because we couldn't wait for delivery.
Yeah, Robert may visit another company or other companies, but it is not usually. It is not usually because he says...
Just once when I went to the local computer...
Just once a year. Just once a year. And here we don't tick this point 6. Okay, now let's listen again for the last time and write these phrases in the correct place. And here we can see from time to time, generally, hardly ever, so hardly ever, normally, occasionally, and usually.
Hi, Robert. Just to help me understand what you do, could you tell me about your daily routine?
Well, every day is different. But generally, I arrive at work at about 8:30.
Generally, he arrives at work, yeah, but we don't have here generally.
Go straight to my desk and check my emails. I usually have a few of them.
I usually have a few of them. Robert has emails waiting for him, usually.
I reply to as many as I can, but by 9, when most of the office staff arrive, my phone generally starts ringing.
His phone generally starts ringing, but we don't have here this point. His phone generally starts ringing.
So, How do you actually help people?
It depends. I normally try to visit people at their desk.
Okay, I normally try to visit people at their desks. Normally. Here is normally. Good.
But occasionally, problems come in from salespeople.
But occasionally, problems come from salespeople. And here we can put occasionally, number 4.
Then I have to solve the problem on the phone or by remote access. This isn't very common, though.
And what else do you do?
Well, from time to time, I have to attend meetings.
From time to time, I have to attend meetings. So, from time to time, Robert has to attend meetings. It's number 5, right? Okay.
Things with managers and talk about our IT systems. And a few times every year, I speak to visitors who are selling equipment we might want to buy. I hardly ever go out to visit them, though.
I hardly ever go out to visit them. Yeah, hardly ever, and it's number 6. That is my congrats. It was our listening number 2. Okay, now let's discuss our next topic, team meeting or company's meeting or simply meeting. And the key requirement if you go to a meeting or if you organize a meeting is to understand the purpose of the meeting and the agenda. It means the list of items to be discussed during the meeting. We may have the following items, for example, new product updates, current tickets, blockers. It means problems that prevent us from achieving our goals, suggestions. And in IT companies, meetings are often held within the Scrum environment. It means an agile environment that teams use to develop their products or deploy their products faster by breaking down large development projects into smaller pieces that can be accomplished in a shorter time frame and with a controlled quality. There are 3 main roles within the Scrum methodology: Scrum Master, Project or Product Owner, and Team. The Scrum Master is a team person who represents the team to the project or product owner and helps the team stay effective. The project owner or product owner is the person who is responsible for the implementation of the entire project or for the development of a certain product, and he or she is usually one of the stakeholders, one of the project stakeholders. And our team members are responsible for the implementation of a product. And we can have the following meeting types: sprint planning meeting, daily Scrum meeting or weekly Scrum meeting, sprint review meeting, and retrospective meeting. A sprint planning meeting is a meeting where we select our tasks from the project pool, and these tasks are committed by the team for this particular sprint. And we also can create here a backlog based on the selected tasks, while each task is estimated in so-called ideal man-hours. The next type of the meeting is daily Scrum meeting, where we can discuss and determine how our scope of work shall be implemented, and this kind of meetings last 10 or 15 minutes, no more, where the participants have to answer the following questions: what has been done since the previous daily or weekly meeting? What has been done since the previous weekly or daily meeting? What will be accomplished in the period from the current meeting to the next one, to the next meeting? What problems are preventing us from achieving our sprint objectives? The next type of the meeting is sprint review meeting, where we can make a review of our sprint deliverables or sprint results. Usually it is held after the sprint is accomplished. Our team can demonstrate the incremental functionality of the product to all parties concerned, and our Scrum Master is interested to involve as many stakeholders, as many participants concerned as possible to take part in this kind of meeting. So the retrospective meeting is held after the sprint is completed and after we made a review of our sprint. Here we can share our opinions about the sprint, about the problems or issues that we had during the sprint. Actually, now people try to avoid the word problem because it sounds a bit negative, problem. And we can see that now everybody says an issue instead of a problem. And if the well-known movie Apollo 13 would have been shot nowadays, the astronauts, the spacemen would have said, Houston, we have an issue, instead of
Houston, we have a problem.
So try to avoid the word problem, use the word issue. Sometimes our meetings are held in the form of a so-called simple stand-up meeting where we can discuss a common goal, scope of work, our current tasks, tickets, blockers, issues, and here we can ask the following questions. What have we done since our last meeting? What have we done since our last meeting? So what are the blockers? What are the blockers that preventing us from moving ahead along the project timeline? And the next question is, have we reached our goals? Have we reached our goals? And are there any improvements for the next sprint? Are there any improvements for the next sprint? And we can use the following hands-on phrases during our team meeting like, "Hi everyone, let's discuss our plans for today." Hi everyone, let's discuss our plans for today. Then you can go back to the explanation of the work you have done before. Like, yesterday I made a short code review and fixed a couple of bugs. Yesterday I made a short code review and fixed a couple of bugs. You can also mention some issues or blockers like, we have an issue with our last ticket. We have an issue with our last ticket. And it might be a blocker for our next task. And it might be a blocker for our next task. You can also invite all team members participating in this meeting to discuss the problem, to discuss the issue, saying, let's think it over and find a solution how we can sort it out. How can we get rid of this? So it means how can we eliminate this problem? When discussing an agenda item, you can also use the following common phrases. Let's move on to the next issue. Let's move on to the next point. If you would like to add a comment, you can say, I'd like to comment as follows. I agree, I disagree with that. I agree, I disagree with that. I share your opinion. I would like to add. I would like to add. And at the end, you can summarize by saying, let's recap, and thank all the participants for collaboration in this meeting. Like, thank you guys, that was a fantastic meeting. Following the meeting, you can also send the meeting follow-up. It means a structured summary of the meeting that is sent to all the participants. Now let's have a look at our basic terms and definitions. Scrum. Scrum is a method of project management that means that we break down large sections or large project tasks into smaller pieces and implement them within our sprints. Release is a version of a product which we prepare in a fixed time period, and this version has a list of tasks to be solved within this release, and often it ends with a new version of a product, and each release also is implemented within a number of sprints. User story. A user story is the functionality our customer wants to see implemented in our product. So these are requirements of our customers to be implemented. Product backlog. Product backlog. A list of customers' wishes to be implemented in the project, sorted by relevance. Sorted by relevance. Release backlog. A list of customer requests or wishes that need to be implemented in the current release. Story points. Story points. These are points of complexity. These are scores that reflects the complexity of the task or an assignment. And here we can see how difficult it is to implement customer wishes, whether it is difficult or not very difficult, depending on the score. While the higher score means that the task is rather difficult and the lower score means that the task is rather simple. A burn down chart. A burn down chart, our last definition. This is a chart showing a comparison between the optimal pace of implementation of our tasks and the actual pace of our project work, so we can easily see whether we are ahead of our time schedule along the project timeline or we are lagging behind. For that reason, we can use our burn down chart. Okay, that is for today. I hope you really enjoy your time, and now you can easily use all these hands-on phrases and feel well prepared for your team meeting. Now let's imagine that you have a work meeting and you have to discuss a very topical, a very urgent question for your company. Let's listen to a teleconference in a company that has small offices in different cities and then answer the questions. First, let's have a look at our agenda. In attendance. Who is attendant? Juliet, chief accountant, chairperson, head office. Fred, office manager, local office. And Ulrich, IT support officer, local office. And we have only 2 items on agenda. Number 1, replacing old computers. Number 2, cost of new furniture. Now let's listen to a short abstract from this meeting.
Hi, Juliet here, chief accountant. Is everyone there?
Yep, Fred here, office manager in the Manchester office.
Ulrich here, also in the Manchester office. I'm the IT support officer.
Okay, let's start the meeting. I understand that your design department's computers are very slow and we need to find a solution. We don't have much money for IT equipment at the moment, I'm afraid. Any suggestions? Fred?
What about upgrading to a new version of Windows? A new operating system is much cheaper than buying new computers and should be faster.
Good idea. How does that sound, Ulrich?
Well, I'm afraid there might be a problem. Unfortunately, the computers just won't run the new Windows well. They're just too old.
Okay, could we buy more memory then?
That wouldn't work either, unfortunately. We can't put any more memory in. They're already full. I really don't think that upgrading will work.
That's a pity. We just don't have enough money to replace all the computers. Do you have any more ideas, Ulrich?
How about just replacing 4 computers for now and the other 4 later? I think I can find some good deals. How does that sound, Fred?
Yes, I think that will work. I think the designers will be happy.
Okay, good. That's decided then. Ulrich, send me an email when you've found a good price. Now, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the cost of the new photo.
Now let's listen once again and try to find answer to the following questions. Question number 1. What suggestions did Fred make? What suggestion did Fred make? Question number 2. What is the problem with that suggestion? What is the problem with that suggestion? Question number 3. What was Fred's next suggestion? What was Fred's next suggestion? Question number 4. What is the problem with that? What is the problem with that? Question number 5. What was Ulrich's suggestion? What was Ulrich's suggestion? And the last one, whose suggestion was chosen? Whose suggestion was chosen? Okay, let's try to find an answer to the first question.
Hi, Juliet here, Chief Accountant. Is everyone there?
Yep, Fred here, office manager in the Manchester office.
Ulrich here, also in the Manchester office. I'm the IT support officer.
Okay, let's start the meeting. I understand that your design department's computers are very slow and we need to find a solution. We don't have much money for IT equipment at the moment, I'm afraid. Any suggestions? Fred?
What about upgrading to a new version of Windows? A new operating system is much cheaper than buying new computers and should be faster.
And the first suggestion was, what about upgrading to a new version of Windows? Because it is much cheaper than buying new computers. Okay, suggestion number 1 was updating Windows version. Yeah? The next one, what is the problem with that suggestion?
Good idea. How does that sound, Ulrich?
Well, I'm afraid there might be a problem. Unfortunately, the computers just won't run the new Windows well. They're just too old.
What is the problem? Unfortunately, the computers won't run new Windows version well, yeah, because they are old. Yeah, they are just too old. And what was Fred's next suggestion?
Okay, could we buy more memory then?
Could we buy more memory then? Yeah, Fred suggests that they should buy more memory. And what is the problem with that?
That wouldn't work either, unfortunately. We can't put any more memory in. They're already full. I really don't think that upgrading will work.
And that won't work either, yeah? Why? Because they can't put more memory in. All memory slots are full. What was Ulrich's suggestion? What was Ulrich's suggestion?
That's a pity. We just don't have enough money to replace all the computers. Do you have any more ideas, Ulrich?
How about just replacing 4 computers for now and the other 4 later? I think I can find some good deals. How does that sound, Fred?
And what was Ulrich's suggestion? To replace 4 computers now and 4 more later. It will be cheaper and it is feasible. And now the last question, whose suggestion was chosen?
Yes, I think that will work. I think the designers will be happy.
Okay, good. That's decided then.
Okay, that's decided then. And it means that Ulrich's suggestion was chosen. Great. It was an example of agenda of how those who were attendant discussed the first item of this agenda, replacing old computers. And here we can make suggestions, we can agree and disagree, and for this we can use the following verbs. We can use the modal verbs shall or could to make suggestions, like we could buy new computers. We could buy new computers. We can also use how about or what about and then gerund ing to make a suggestion, like how about hiring a new technician? How about hiring a new technician? And we can also use maybe or perhaps to soften a suggestion, or we can say I'm afraid to politely disagree. It's a very good polite form of disagreeing. It's usually polite to give a reason if you disagree. And for example, we can say here, maybe we could upgrade the server. There is a problem with that idea, I'm afraid. We are cutting costs at the moment. So these are very good examples of agreeing, disagreeing and making suggestions during your work meeting. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you won't have any problems with your real work meetings now. Now let's discuss how to write emails in English. And these are some simple rules to follow. You know, in our today's world, email is no longer so popular for personal correspondence, for personal communication, unlike social networks and messengers, where we can use simpler language. However, for business communications, email is still widespread. In this lesson, we discussed key elements of each email and how it is structured, and we can also discuss some examples of emails, formal, informal emails, and so on. All business emails, like all business letters, can be divided into 2 large groups: free-form letters and template emails or template letters, application, reports, and so on. In my opinion, it makes sense to learn how to write free-form letters because template letters are easier to handle, easier to write, and there's no point in trying to learn all of these templates. As a rule, each company has a certain established forms of established templates of emails like application, reports, congrats, and in 90% of all cases they are just a set of ready-made forms where you just need to substitute numbers or names. However, even free-form emails have some common elements that we can find in every email. And these components are the sender, the recipient, the subject matter, the subject of the email, and it must be written clear and short. For example, payment confirmation. If the email is linked to a certain date, if the information contained in this email is linked to a certain date, we can also put it in the subject field, like a farewell party on the 21st of April. Our email may have some fields like CC, copy of the letter, copy of our email, and it means all recipients indicated in this field will also receive this letter. BCC, hidden copy, it means addressee or addressees added to the BCC field will receive the message, but other recipients will not know about this. The next element is the body, so the core information of the email and details. We can also attach some information, some files to our email, and sometimes we have to spell the email address, how to make it right, and for this we can use the following words. @ symbol. This symbol is called @ and pronounced as @. The dot in an email address is called a dot, not a point. Point, full stop, a dot. The next symbol is a hyphen. Sometimes it is not correctly called dash, because dash is a longer version of hyphen. So this is a hyphen. The next symbol is the underscore, which is also less commonly called as understrike, low dash, or low line. For example, support@hotmail.com, support@hotmail.com, or help-me@gmail.com. Yeah, help-me@gmail.com. As for the body of our email, it contains the core information, and an email is normally longer than a text that we can see in the form of our SMS or messages in the messengers. And our email normally also contains some traditional formulas. And first of all, this is a greeting. Yeah, we have to greet our addressees. Then we have to state the purpose of our message. So you can get to the point and explain why you are writing. Then you can go down to the details of your email. So if necessary, you can mention all these details. If you want your recipient to follow some instructions, for example, to call someone, to reply, or to forward this letter, write it in a polite but very clear words. So there should be no doubt that you want to make an instruction for your addressee. At the end of your email, you can give your signature, and your email may also end with a kind of courtesy. So you have to give your first name, your last name, sometimes your job title, address, and phone number if appropriate. Let's have a look at examples of our emails. First, we have to greet our addressee. We can write simply hello plus name. Hello, James. Or we can do it more formally, like Dear James. So dear doesn't mean darling as we apply it to our husband or wife. Dear is just a common opening formula. Okay, if the addressee is unknown, for example, you are writing to a certain HR department, say so, hello, or dear colleagues, because we are all colleagues, or dear all, to a group of colleagues. Or you can write in dear HR department. If possible, it's better to indicate the name or address by name, for example, Dear Jane, or to a department, Dear Marketing Department. If you don't know the recipient, if you don't know the addressee, briefly introduce yourself, provide some information of yourself. And at the end, you can put best regards, or simply regards, or best wishes, or even kind regards. It's the same. Now let's have a look at some useful phrases that you can use in your email. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are doing well is a good starter, is a good phrase to start your email. Or you can write an equivalent like, how are you? A more formal version, I hope this email finds you well. I hope this email finds you well. If you want to provide some additional information, some extras about something the recipient already knows, you can write, I just wanted to update you on. I just wanted to update you on. Or, I just wanted to let you know that. It can be used as a universal introduction to a short message about some important facts or details. Or you can write simpler, please be informed, be advised. FYI, for your information. It means please be informed. This abbreviation is appropriate. You can use it if you write to your colleagues and if you are communicating on routine or work matters. If you are writing to a client or to an HR manager, it's better not to write like this. And if you add an attachment, you can write please find or please see attached. For example, please find attached the report. Please find attached the report. Or if you want to give some more details, you can write more details for more information. Please find, and so on. It is customary to give a reference to a contact person at the end of your email. For example, for further details, please contact my assistant. I look forward to your reply. I look forward to your reply. Or I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing from you. It is a polite way of letting know that it would be a good idea to reply to your email. Thank you for your time, so you can use this phrase at the end of your email. Now let's have a look at some examples of good style emails. Hello Alex, this is John from IBM Company. I wanted to update you on the meeting we are having on Tuesday. Due to the weather conditions, the meeting has been moved from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Please let me know if you are able to attend it. Sorry for the inconvenience. Best regards, John. It is a very good example. You can write in a more formal way. Dear Mr. Johnson, dear Mr. Johnson, I hope this email finds you well. This is John from IBM Company. I wanted to update you on the meeting we are having on Tuesday. Due to the weather conditions, it has been moved from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Would you be so kind as to let me know if you will be able to attend it? Please accept my apologies for the inconvenience. Sincerely, John. It is a very formal letter. Or you can write a less formal letter of the same content. Like, Alex, I just wanted to let you know that the Friday meeting had been moved to 10:30 a.m. I'm really sorry about that. Will you be able to attend it, John? You can write this kind of letter to your friend or to your colleague. Okay, now general recommendations. We have to write politely regardless of the style of the letter. For each question, we need to use an individual, a separate paragraph. As we know from our experience, in the most cases, you will get an answer only to the first question, and the following ones may be ignored. That's why write the numbers of your questions. So write briefly and straight to the point, because normally people don't like to read longer letters about nothing. In order to avoid that the letter with an answer from your recipient goes to the spam, you have to indicate his or her address in the white list of contacts. I hope that you can use these recommendations when drafting and writing your emails. Okay, now you know quite well how to write your emails. Let's make a short practical assignment to train our vocabulary. And here, this is exercise number 2, and we have to match these words in the screenshots of email clients below. And here we are. Okay, subject line, okay, and this is right, subject, access point now working here, yeah, and letter I. The next one, recipient's address, and this is here, yeah, right. Or I think it is C2. It is C2, recipient's address. Email signature. This is right, F. Justo Gonzalez, project manager. Okay, F. Attachment button. Attachment button is, now let's have a look. Where is this attachment? Right, that is B. Yeah, attachment button. We can attach our file here. Spell checker. So if we are not sure that our spelling is correct, we can check it using internal spell checker. And this is right. I think it is A, spell checker. A. Forward. I think it is G. Forward is G. Right. Blind copy address. BCC, and this is E. Reply button. A good question. Where is this reply button? I cannot find it right. Okay, I cannot find it right now. So where it is? Okay, I think this one. Yeah, right, this one. J, reply button. Right, and then copy address. Copy address is CC. Yeah, and number 10, delete. Delete is, I think, here, H. Okay, right, we coped with this task. Now take a paper and write down the steps in sending an email. This is the task of exercise 3. So you have to write, for example, first I have to write the recipient's address, right? Step number 1. Then I have to write the copy 2. If I send a blind copy, I need to write the address in the blind copy field, and so on. Try to do this using these words that we checked today. Now let's compare the steps that you've written with the steps written below in exercise number 4. And here we can see all our steps, how to write an email, and we have to make here also a short grammar exercise to put articles a and on the when it is appropriate. I think everybody knows, but we can refresh this information. The article a and an are used when we mention the item for the first time. And the article the is used when the listener already knows which item we are talking about. We also use the when the item is the only one of its kind. Now let's have a look at the examples. Please send me a message, yeah, for the first time. Could you send me an email to remind me for the first time? Could you forward the email that Jack sent? So we know that this email is from Jack. That's why we put here the. Or the internet is down. The internet is the only one thing. Okay, here we are. Now let's read this short article to compare all these steps with the step that you've written in your notes. Here are some guidelines for using an email and RML digital. Think carefully about what you write. Emails can be permanent records. Even if you delete, here we put an, right, for the first time, an email. the recipient could keep their copy. He or she might also forward the email to other people, because we are talking about this email for the second time, the email to other people. Make a subject line clear and short, right? Okay. And if you receive an important email, try to send a quick thanks message in reply. It only takes a few seconds and it may stop someone worrying that the email didn't get through. If you are copying emails to people who don't know each other, use a BCC line so that they can't see each other emails addresses. Check attachment size before sending. Some email systems limit attachment to 10 MB or less. A standard RML digital signature should be on all emails sent from the company. Okay, now you know all the steps of writing your email, and let's make another exercise. Let's try to imagine that you work for an IT consultant and have been asked to prepare a proposal to upgrade a company's electronic communication systems. First, you have to read the company profile and requests from staff members. Here is the company's profile, and these are requests from company's members. You have to prepare a list of the equipment and software they are using now, and that works well and what doesn't work well. Then you can decide the hardware and software needed to meet all the requirements. Think about ways of sending video through browsers, internet security, features of mobile devices, and alternatives to email. Give reasons for your choices. You just need to prepare your proposal as if you are going to send it to your customer. And your proposal should have the following parts, 3 parts. Part number 1, introduction. Explain the problem. Part number 2, body. Present your proposal. And part number 3, conclusion. Say how much your proposal will help. Okay. So now let's have a look at the company's profile. Beneflex Architects. Beneflex Architects is an architecture company with a difference. Our sales team are fully qualified architects who talk with you and visit the place where you want to build your house. We ask lots of questions, show you lots of ideas, and work with you through every step in the process. In this way, we design your perfect home. Technology is important to us. It helps us work more efficiently and also helps to give you the best solutions. In addition, we use it to keep you up to date all the way through the process. Let's have a look at the emails from the staff members of this company. And the first one, my problem is this. At the moment, it's hard to know where the sales team are. If a new inquiry comes in, I'd like to be able to send someone to the customer straight away. Sales manager. Number 2, we really need to improve the customer experience. Customers tell us what they want to see, the plans and images of their new home in much greater detail. They also want video, not just images. Marketing manager. Number 3, it would be great to see everyone's appointments all at the same time, on the same screen. That's why I know when to call salespeople without interrupting a meeting with a customer. Sales support administrator. I get too many emails. I seem to spend more time dealing with emails than with customers. There must be a better way to communicate, sales representative. And the last 2, we really need to make the system more secure. Our IT person tells me that anyone can read the information from the salespeople's tablets. That's a big problem, general manager. And the last, but not the least one, currently we take a lot of photographs with cameras on sites, buildings, and things like that. If we can upload them to somewhere that we can access easily, that will save a lot of time. We won't have to move photos from one program to another or one device to another. Sales representative. So here we are. Now you can download the page with this information. It is below this video in our lesson in additional materials, and you can use it to prepare your proposal, written proposal as required. Good luck! Now let's take a look at our project management software tool, which is called Jira or Jira Platform. Jira is a program tool developed by Atlassian company, and it is often used by IT companies to generate a list of tasks or issues, to track the overall progress of the team, and to solve various problems or issues during our project development. Jira is organized or structured following the principle of Scrum or Kanban boards, and this project management system follows the Agile development method or methodology. By the way, the name of Jira originates from the Japanese name Gojira, so it is a well-known monster, Godzilla, a big monster terrifying big cities and disturbing normal life of Japanese citizens. A typical Kanban board is divided into 3 columns. Column 1 includes the tasks that we need to do, that is the to-do list. The next column includes those tasks that are currently being performed or tasks in progress. And we also have the third type of tasks that have been already accomplished, but we have left them to track our progress. The so-called down column, completed, but we can track progress. So what is the Agile development? In our previous lessons we shortly discussed this topic, but now we can go back to this topic to refresh the information. The Agile development is a method of organizing or structuring our workflow, which implies that we divide complex and large goals into smaller ones, which we normally implement within our sprints. Accordingly, the sprint is determined on the basis of preset goals and based on the wishes or requirements of our users. Now let's have a look at main components of Jira, its interface elements, how we create issues and what kind of information we can find here and where. The interface of Jira, as you can see, is divided into several key tabs. In the Project tab, we can see all Kanban and Scrum boards that you can view and edit. That is your main workspace. And here we can also switch to tracking our new product releases, to the mode of tracking of our new product releases, look at all our active issues or tasks, analyze our reports on the work done well, and some other similar tasks. Our task is actually originally called an issue, and issue can be normally translated or interpreted as problems, but here this is a simple entity or a unit of information, a piece of information, and these tasks, this issue includes some function that we need to implement, to develop, or in the course of our work, or a bug in the program that needs to be fixed. All Jira issues have their own type, and for an easier classification we can select one of the following options, like for example a new function, a bug, a subtask, an epic, and so on. The type of tasks depend on the goal of the team and the company, and we can find the corresponding settings attached in our project settings section. In our project settings we can also have a section roadmap and a schedule, which is called here a timeline for implementation of our tasks. In this section you can create goals and plan the teamwork for the future. And the epic is here the key entity or the key unit of information. Epic is a kind of a combination of large number of tasks, issues that are linked together by a release. Each set of new features in an application or a batch of bug fixes are sent to users in the form of new version of such an application. So in Jira lots of attention is paid exactly to the issues of new version controls. In the next section you can create versions of your program, specify the release date, assign certain fixes to them, and so on. At the Jira platform we can also have different types of tasks that helps us to identify, categorize, and distinguish between the issues. These are the following built-in task types, or so-called out-of-the-box issues here that we can use to make our work easier. The first type of task is an epic. The epic represents a larger body of work, and often it reflects a collection of specific tasks, specific issues, for example opening a lemonade stand. The next one is a task representing the task that needs to be completed. Tasks are often used as a generic or catch-all option when a work cannot be accurately represented by other types of tasks, of other types of issues. And here we can see the following example: make lemonade, create a sign, set up a stand. The next one is a story. The story represents a requirement expressed or implied by the user. And here we can see another example: I'd like to have a really cold fresh drink. Bug. A bug is a problem that needs to be fixed, that needs to be resolved, like the lemonade is too sour. We can also have a subtask. It represents a more granular decomposition of our work required to complete a standard issue. A subtask can be created for all types of above tasks, for all the above types of issues. And here we can see the following example: squeeze lemonade. Each task has its priorities. The highest when the problem can block our further progress. A high priority, it means a serious problem that could block our progress. Medium has a potential to affect our progress. Low, it means that we have a minor problem here, or the problem that can be easily worked around, and the trivial problem with little or no impact on our progress. We can also use the following task statuses. Open, the task is open and we can assign the person in charge. In progress, reopened, we can reopen the task that was previously closed for checking or for making some comments and so on. The next status is resolved, it means pending review, and after that it will be closed or reopened. We can also classify our issues by two categories, by two further categories, like to do or done. Very simple, to do or done. Where we create our issues on Jira platform, we can specify a number of attributes for them. For example, a summary. Summary is a brief description of the current task, while the description is a full-fledged description that we can give if required. The assignee is a team member who should be delegated the relevant tasks or issues. Labels. Labels are a kind of tags for sorting our issues by other attributes outside the list. Fixed version. The fixed version shows to what version a particular task or issue is attributed. Story point estimate. A potential estimate of our labor costs that takes to add a new feature or fix a bug. A reporter. A reporter is usually a user who will report on task completion. An attachment. An attachment is a file attached to the issue, like a picture, video, and so on. A linked issue. A linked issue, an issue linked to our project or our sprint. Now let's have a look at our reporting section of Jira platform, and here we can see different kinds of reports and reporting options. And all our reports can be automatically generated. We have here 4 types of reports available, and the first one is a burn up report. It is a graph showing us the performance of a particular sprint as compared to overall performance of the development of our development team, and it is used to evaluate the performance of the current sprint. We can have here also a sprint burn down report or sprint burn down, which is a graph that shows the amount of work that needs to be done. So it is the work remaining within the current sprint, and it is used to evaluate both team and individual performance. We can also have a velocity report. Velocity report predicts the amount of work our team can commit to in future sprints by reviewing the progress achieved in previous sprints. So we compare it to the progress of our previous sprints. So it tries to predict how many tasks and which volume of work our employees, our team members, will be able to accomplish during the next sprint. And specifically, we have a cumulative flow diagram that shows how the statuses of issues changed over time. We can see columns here with more issues and identify bottlenecks in our workflow. So that is for today, and now you have a basic knowledge of our Jira platform, how it works, how it is structured, and how it can save our precious time. Now let's imagine you successfully passed your job interview and you finally find a job of your dream. And before starting your work at a new company, you'll get an onboarding plan, a document to guide you as you navigate your first few weeks. Let's have a look at the example of Charlie, and Charlie is employed now at ABM company. So welcome, Charlie. We are so glad you are here. We are so glad you are here. And your onboarding plan will include the following sections. Section number 1, introduction. Section number 2, meet your teammates. Section number 3, your role, your responsibilities within the team. Then you'll have an onboarding checklist and systems and tools that you can use at your new place of work. Introduction to the company. Our client systems support modern society. In making them faster, more productive, and more secure, we don't just make business work better, we make the world work better. These are the quote of Arvind Krishna, chairman and CEO of IBM company, when our Charlie is now employed. And Charlie will have some information about the company's mission, like we do business with integrity, honesty, and professionalism. We care about our clients and aim to give them the best service possible. We are committed to supporting and serving our local communities. These are 3 elements of company's mission. And here we can meet our team members. Jean, head of IT department. Below you can see the email address of all these persons. Jess, deputy head. Kit, senior specialist. Joy, designer. Dylan, our developer, and Wes, our tester, who is in charge of quality assurance. And now a couple of words about your role, the role of Charlie. Your goals and tasks in your first 3-6 months are in the linked document below. Click. And here you can see a document with all the information about your role. We'll continue to define and refine your goals and tasks as you get more comfortable with your role. So your company gives you an opportunity to better understand your responsibilities and specifics of your job at this new place. And to avoid any difficulties on this route, you will have a personal coach who will guide you through the whole onboarding process. And here are some expectations what you can expect from your coach. Her name is Lizzie Garcia, lead expert. Lizzie Garcia, lead expert. Will assist you with onboarding and will be your guide for your first week. Will assist you with onboarding and will be your guide for your first week. Will help you understand your current role and responsibilities. Will help you understand your current role and your responsibilities. Will guide you in figuring out your professional and personal objectives. Will guide you in figuring out your professional and personal objectives, and will be your mentor for your first 6 months at work. You can have an onboarding checklist, so you can check that nothing is missed here, that you didn't miss anything, and these are action items to be accomplished in your first 2 weeks at work. And these are submit requirements, complete assessments, attend onboarding, meet with your coach, and set up tools. A very simple guidance, a very good list to check all the items to be accomplished in your first weeks at work. And as for your tools, you'll have a company laptop. IT will help you with settings. You will have also your email and intranet access. IT will provide your username and temporary password, so you can easily work in intranet using your email and so on. You will also have a company's ID. An HR specialist will give you your official ID you can use when working at company's premises. And of course you will have a security access card to have an access to the building and company's offices. And if our Charlie or if you have any questions at a new place of your work, feel free to reach out, feel free to contact Dean, Cameron and Alexis. So that it is an exemplary onboarding plan. So if you get into your own onboarding plan, you are well prepared and you know what to expect from your onboarding plan. And I can wish you good luck and very successful and fast onboarding at your new place of work. Now let's make a short listening task, and today we're going to listen to a part of the job interview, a real job interview that you have already seen in your previous lesson, job interview. And now we're going to talk about onboarding procedure and listen to a part when the interviewer and the interviewed person are discussing the onboarding procedures in place at this company. Now let's listen to this part of interview and try to grasp the overall idea of this conversation.
Awesome. And then for my final question, just how, like, what would my first maybe 6 months kind of look like? What would be some of the projects that I'm working on look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the most important things from my perspective for anyone joining the team is we don't want to have new team members be siloed. We want to make sure that they are exposed to.
So the first one, they don't want to have their new team members silent. Okay.
What we have kind of out there on not just my team, but surrounding teams. So a couple of things that you'll be kind of doing is, first off, you'll be assigned immediately upon arriving a mentor.
And the first one, she will have a personal mentor who will help to go through the onboarding process.
that can kind of help guide you, and you know, you'll specifically, like, this is a role for, you know, my team, so like they would be kind of introducing you to our systems, walking you through the code base, you know, introducing you to the other people on the team. So one of the big things is, like, you have this mentor that's kind of there to guide you every step. But
and the task of this mentor will be to introduce her to all the processes at the company, to other team members, and so on.
Another important point is, like, we try to make sure you get one-on-ones with everyone on the team within the first month.
One of the most important issues or points that he wants to be sure that she is introduced to every member of the team and to know the work, to know the main idea of the work during the first month.
Approximately, at least within our small team. So, like, you get to meet everyone on the team, you get introduced to the code base. So it's really just kind of getting warmed up, getting comfortable, seeing things. Probably,
this is a kind of a warm-up here, introduction to team members, introduction to code base, and so on.
You know, end of month 1 to, like, you know, month 3, a big part of it will be, you know, tackling some kind of more entry-level tickets on.
And the period from month 1 to month 3 will be a period for some entry-level tickets or easy tickets.
The systems, really get your hands dirty, plug in, and you know, they won't be the most complex. You won't be designing a system from scratch, but taking our existing systems, you know, ironing out some bugs.
They don't expect that she will design new systems from scratch, but rather she has an idea of the existing systems at the company.
All that, get more comfortable. After that, you'll be kind of more potentially leading, not leading, but like kind of help co-lead certain initiatives. And that has a little bit more flexibility. You can kind of take it different ways, whether you want to be really the one grinding out the code or you want to be more thinking about the design and all of that. And I think the only other thing is, like, kind of throughout this process, we try to.
And after that, more flexibility, not as a team leader, but she can propose good ideas and be responsible for the implementation, right? To put it short.
Also introduce you to some of the teams that we work closely with. So you'll definitely have some interaction with them. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, that was the question, and that was the answer to this question about onboarding process. Now let's try to listen to the whole part of this discussion without my interruptions, try to get the most important information, and maybe you can get some helpful ideas on how the onboarding process is organized at IT companies.
Awesome. And then for my final question, just how, like, what would my first maybe 6 months kind of look like? What would be some of the projects that I'm working on look like?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the most important things from my perspective for anyone joining the team is we don't want to have new team members be siloed. We want to make sure that they are exposed to what we have kind of out there on not just my team, but, you know, surrounding teams. So a couple of things that you'll be kind of doing is, first off, you'll be, you know, assigned immediately upon arriving a mentor that can kind of help guide you. And, you know, you'll specifically, like, this is a role for, you know, my team. So, like, they would be kind of introducing you to our systems, walking you through the code base, you know, introducing you to the other people on the team. So one of the big things is, like, you have this mentor that's kind of there to guide you every step. But another important point is, like, we try to make sure you get one-on-ones with everyone on the team within the first month, approximately, at least within our small team. So, like, you get to meet everyone on the team, you get introduced to the code base. So it's really just kind of getting warmed up, getting comfortable, seeing things. Probably, you know, end of month 1 to, like, you know, month 3, a big part of it will be, you know, tackling some kind of more entry-level tickets on the systems, really get your hands dirty, plug in, and you know, they won't be the most complex. You won't be designing a system from scratch, but taking our existing systems, you know, ironing out some bugs, all of that, get more comfortable. After that, you'll be kind of more potentially leading, not leading, but like kind of help co-lead certain initiatives. And that has a little bit more flexibility. You can kind of take it different ways, whether you want to be really the one grinding out the code or you want to be more thinking about the design and all of that. And I think the only other thing is, like, kind of throughout this process, we try to also introduce you to some of the teams that we work closely with. So you'll definitely have some interaction with them. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, awesome.
Okay, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this dialogue, and now you have some more ideas on how the onboarding process can be structured. Okay, now let's talk about our basic IT terms and definitions. Let's have a look at the basic concepts of programming in English and how everything is called here. Working in this field for a long time, I think you know everything, and this information may be interesting for you only from the point how everything is called in English. But if you just started your career here, if you are a beginner, then I think this material, this information will be very helpful and interesting for you. Basically, everything that is written inside the code are zeros and ones. So just imagine you can communicate with your computer using this very simple language of zeros and ones. Like 00 is a letter A and 01 is a letter B, and so on. And your computer will understand the language that you are using. So, as a programmer, you have a task to convert or to translate normal human language into these zeros and ones. You know, like a translator makes a translation from English into Chinese, into German, and so on. There are languages that are necessary for communication between people and languages that can be used to establish a communication between your computer and human being, which is called a code that we can use to explain computer what it has to do and what it should do. These can be very simple languages like zeros and ones. There may be also languages of a higher level of abstraction like Python or JavaScript and so on, but the principle is the same. At the very end, everything is converted into zeros and ones that your machine can understand. And if we are talking about programming, we can say that there are two major areas here, a back-end development and a front-end development. Front-end is easier for us to understand because it is everything that we can see on our site or in our app. This is our interface or our pictures with letters, with some animation, with videos, and so on. The backend is the part which is invisible to the user when the real magic happens, where the request that the user sends from the website or application, for example, if you press a button, the program will send this query to the server and everything will be processed. Backend is everything that is under hood. So the engine is working, the shafts are rotating, transmitting the torque to the wheels, and so on. And naturally, here we need some more elements, some bricks from which we built our house, we built our program, our system. These are some pieces of information which are combined into databases. Databases, these are bases with our information that can be stored in a physical location on our server or in cloud. So to sum it up, a database is a specific set of data that can be stored in a structured or organized form. As a rule, we can make here a distinction between relational and non-relational databases. Relational databases consist of some kind of tables or represented in the form of spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets. Non-relational databases are a sort of databases that are not represented in a form of spreadsheets or in a tabular form, but we can have here some values. We can assign some values to some fields. For example, you see, and this value is a kind of a key. So we can find the information by the key in our database. As a rule, regardless whether we are talking about front-end or back-end, when we're working with databases, we use some standard elements, some standard operations, queries. For example, if we are working with our website, like website of a department store, we can use similar elements or the same, even the same elements like login form, product card, product display, and so on. And we don't need to write everything new, we don't write everything from scratch, because we can use these elements for our different projects. So we can use our libraries, the so-called libraries or frameworks. So it's naturally quite easier to find and copy ready-made blocks or units of information from one project to another than to write everything from scratch, from zero. So we just need to take some part of our code, which we can see in many different projects. We can write an instruction how to find, how to use these lines of codes and make some links here, and we have our framework down. So framework that allows us to standardize our common solution, to write our code much easier and much quicker. Naturally, all our products, all our programs run not in a space, but they are all running like now you are watching this video. So your programs are running on your computer or on your phone or tablet. But if we have a close look at our device, we can see here a display made of glass or plastic, and we can also find here some hardware, but these are all individual parts, standalone parts that are not connected with each other, or maybe connected, but they don't know how to interact with each other without the environment, without the operating system. So to make all things work properly, for example, graphic, video card, display, output to display, printers and so on, we need an operating system. Or simpler, a program that allows you to manage all the hardware, all the components of your computer simultaneously at the same time, so your computer works as a single organism. Okay, that's it for today with our general terms and definitions, and now let's move on to some specific areas. And our first big area is software development or application development, which is also sometimes called software design. It is a software engineering process where software programs are created and changed according to users' needs or users' specifications. API, Application Program Interface. This is a set of computer codes that make it possible for different types of software to communicate with each other and exchange data. Cloud computing, a very important term because almost every IT infrastructure is built or relies on cloud computing. Cloud computing is a way of using computers in which you use software or space for storing that is on the internet rather than on your own computer. So you are using external resources, internet resources, instead of using your own computer. Open source. Open source is a concept or principle where the source code for a piece of software is freely available for anyone to use, modify and distribute. And for these reasons we can also use GitHub. It is an online software development platform and version control platform which can be used for storing, tracking and collaborations on software projects. All the projects can be organized in a form of repositories in GitHub. It is a central storage location for managing and tracking your changes in files and directories. Forking. Forking is a very popular and very interesting technique in GitHub. So you can use the repository of other programmers, you can copy it to your account and make your own changes to this copy. So it means you can fork this project. And if your changes are valuable or if you think that they are available for the entire project, you can make a pull request. This is a kind of a request for the people that maintain a repository to accept your piece of code that will make changes to the repository. Legacy code. Sometimes you have to cope with a legacy code. It is an old computer source code that is no longer supported on the standard hardware and environment, but nevertheless, sometimes we need to this legacy code because sometimes we need to deal with this legacy code on older systems, or if we try to use this legacy code as a basis for our development. Authorization. It's a very important step, process of granting permission to do something or to access a certain resource after checking level of access and after the authentication step is completed. And logically here we have another term, the authentication. It is the process that an individual or software or application service goes through to prove their identity before gaining access to digital system. So to get an authorization, first you need to go through the authentication. And sometimes systems may use firewalls. This is a device or software that monitors network activities and can block unauthorized or suspicious network traffic. Sometimes it doesn't help, and for this case it will be wise to have a backup copy. It means a copy that you can use to restore your software, your program, your system, and so on. Tech stack. Tech stack is a combination of technologies a company or a person uses to build and run a mobile or web application. So tech stack, these are different programming languages, frameworks, libraries, and so on. Pet project. Sometimes you can develop your own pet project, for example, pet project at home. It is an activity that you do in your spare time, and you can do this pet project to improve your skills. And sometimes pet projects can be a good start for your new career or even for your new business. Microservice. Microservice is a small, loosely coupled distributed service, and each microservice is designed to perform a specific business function and can be developed, deployed, and scaled independently. It can be used as an alternative to monolith approach. It means where the entire software program is developed as a monolith program, and if you use microservices, it can make your life much easier. For example, you can develop a program simultaneously where different teams develop their own small part of a big software suite. Here you can also use libraries. Library is a small set of routine, generally consists of pre-written code, classes, procedures, scripts, configuration, and data and more. And please do not mix libraries and frameworks. They are very similar, but framework is a higher level of abstraction than the library. Now let's move on to our next topic, a big area which is very important, software testing. Software testing is a process used to identify the accuracy, completeness, and quality of your product. And here we can use different methods, and the first one is the so-called black box method, a method of software testing that examines the functionality of an application without peering into its internal structures or workings. It means that your testers do not know the internal structure of this program. As an opposite method, we can use a white box method. A white box method is a testing technique where a tester is given access to all internal code base of the system, so your testers know pretty well how the system is built, how it is structured, and what is inside. We can also use a mix of a black box and white box method, which is called gray box. It is a form of software testing in which the tester has only partial knowledge of the system under tests. So this is a kind of a combination of white box and black box testing. Pen or penetration tests. It is an authorized simulated cyber attack on a computer system performed to evaluate the system security. So you can try to penetrate your system to understand whether all your security systems are robust enough to withstand these kind of attacks. Load test. Load test is a method designed to determine how a system behaves under expected normal and peak loads. So you can test your system during normal operation and with peak workloads. Regression test. Regression test is a type of testing where you can verify that your changes made in the code base do not impact the existing software functionality. So it means you can make some changes, but the core functionality is not affected. Smoke or sanity test. It means a type of test that aims to confirm whether the basic functionalities of your software are working as intended. And the next one is acceptance test, a quality assurance process that determines to what degree an application meets end users' approval. It means if your software is ready and you can show it to your customers, you can offer this to your customers, or it is not ready for this stage. The next one big group of terms are processes. Processes may include code review, debugging, agile programming or coding, and refactoring. And our first term here is code review or peer review. It means a process where someone other than the author of a piece of a code or the authors of a piece of a code examines that code. Debugging. Debugging is a process of identifying and removing bugs or errors in the code. Refactoring. Refactoring is a process of changing a software system in a way that doesn't alter the external behavior of the code, yet it improves its internal structure. Reverse or back engineering. Reverse or back engineering is a process in which software and other products are deconstructed to extract design information from them. In most cases, reverse engineering is not allowed by manufacturers or software developers, because using this method you can try to understand the source code of your application, of your software. Agile coding. Agile coding is a set of methodologies to help software developer teams collaborate. For example, there can be two coders, two programmers that work on the same workstation at the same time. The one is writing a code and the other one is reviewing it. And sometimes they can change their roles, and the first one is called driver and the second one is normally called observer. So the driver writes the code and the observer observes it. Using this method we can improve the quality of our coding, and we can also avoid some mistakes here. Now let's have a look at our next topic, project management, which is a set of methodologies to help software developers teams collaborate. And here we can have again such a notion as agile management, which is an incremental delivery, team collaboration, continual planning, and continual learning. Another very popular project management method is a Kanban, which is designed to visualize your work as it moves through the process. For example, we can have here Kanban boards when all our processes are broken down in 3 sections: to do, in progress, and done. So to do, what we need to do; in progress, the things that are being done now; and done, the things that are done, so we can track our progress or we can compare the results. Scrum. Scrum is a management method that prescribes for team to break work into goals. So a big problem or a big challenge can be broken down into smaller time-boxed parts that our team can solve one by one, gradually in smaller pieces. And here we can also use a planning poker or Scrum poker session. It's like a normal poker when the participants or team members try to guess the volumes of our work to be done based on our previous experience. But these are not clear statements, these are only assumptions. User story. User story is what our users expect to see at the end of our project. Basically, it's an informal general explanation of a software feature written from the perspective of the end user or customer. Waterfall method. Waterfall method is a traditional project management methodology, and it takes a well-defined project idea to completion through a sequential series of linear steps, tasks, and handoffs. And here we can use our cascade approach, a procedure for setting objectives in which the objectives are set from the top level of management to down. Okay, that is now with our project management methods in IT domain. And now let's have a look at our IT HR and employment terms and definitions. And the first one is outsourcing. It's the practice of using external resources by subcontracting some or all of the information technology functions required by business. It means if we don't have enough resources, we can subcontract them using freelancers or experts from other IT companies. Outstaffing. Outstaffing is a model of team augmentation that implies hiring external specialists from another software development company to enhance your own team. And logically now you can ask me a question: what is the difference between outsourcing and outstaffing? The main difference between outstaffing and outsourcing is that outsourcing implies hiring people on a long-term basis, and outstaffing only for a specific project or job. That is very simple. Job offer. Job offer is an invitation from your potential employee to work in a specific position. And we can remember the phrase,
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
And we can also have a counter offer. We can make a counter offer, the response given to an offer, meaning that the original offer was rejected and replaced with another. Maybe you need to adjust some working conditions or something of that kind. Onboarding. Onboarding, if you are employed, it means the process in which newly hired employees are introduced and integrated into their new role at a company. Onboarding process can last a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, depending on the size of the company and depending on the company's standard procedures and routines. Relocation. Relocation is the process of moving one or more employees from one location to another, which can be done within the same city or to a different city or even to a different country. And as opposed to relocation, we can also have a remote job that an employee performs outside a company office. It means you can do your remote job under flexible working arrangement. And we can also have here a flexible scheme. It means sometimes you need to be at the office 1 day a week or maybe 1 day a month for a meeting, but all other time you can work from your home office, for example, from a very sweet place. Sabbatical, another very good term. I think that all of us like this word sabbatical. This is an extended paid period of time away from our usual work for the purposes of rest, training, travel, or for some other reasons. For example, if a very valuable employee thinks that he needs some rest apart from his standard leave, or he needs to think about a new project inside of the company, he or she can take a sabbatical, a paid leave which can last from 1 week or 2 weeks to 6 months depending on the company. Switcher, a person, a specialist from another field of expertise who changed his or her career area. Like, for example, a teacher who starts to work as a programmer. No, it's not me. Performance reviews. Performance reviews are regular evaluations to assess an employee's job performance and provide feedback on strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth. Okay guys, that's it for today. So we tried to learn lots of very hands-on and very useful phrases and very useful terms and definitions. I hope this will help you in your future work. You can write me and we can discuss this topic, okay? Okay guys, now we know everything about our IT definitions. Let's try to check what is inside of our computer and talk about computer's hardware. First we have to label the diagram with the correct items 1 to 11 here. Here on the picture we can see a typical desktop computer with some parts. Now let's have a look at these parts. And the first one is monitor. Monitor, right? Okay. The second one is case. Computer case. And inside we have a motherboard, and CPU inside, central processing unit or processor. I think it is beneath the fan here, yeah, CPU. We also have main memory, RAM. These are 6 sticks, 6 pieces. Main memory, expansion cards, video and graphic. I think it is here. Power supply unit, here we are. Optical disk drive CD or a DVD here. Hard disk drive, it is here. We also have a keyboard and a mouse. So that's it. Okay, now let's listen to 2 colleagues and complete this dialogue.
What do you think? Which laptop is better for the sales team?
Okay, what do you think? Which laptop is better for the sales team? Laptop.
I'm not sure. This computer has a bigger memory.
I'm not sure. This computer has a bigger memory. Okay, right.
And I think it has a better processor.
It has a better processor. And the other one?
Well, it is smaller.
And the other one, well, it is smaller.
And lighter.
And lighter.
Yes, you're right. Lighter and smaller.
Yes, you're right. Lighter and smaller.
But the bigger one is cheaper.
Cheaper. So what is our decision?
I'm not sure. Let's go for a coffee and discuss this again.
I'm not sure. Let's go for a coffee and discuss this again. Now let's listen to this dialogue for the second time and try to fill in all the gaps without my assistance.
What do you think? Which laptop is better for the sales team?
I'm not sure. This computer has a bigger memory, and I think it has a better processor.
And the other one?
Well, it is smaller.
And lighter.
Yes, you're right. Lighter and smaller.
But the bigger one is cheaper.
So what is our decision?
I'm not sure. Let's go for a coffee and discuss this again.
Okay, that is great. And now let's move on to our computer software. Here we have the following definitions. System software, operating system or OS, browser, text editor like word processing, spreadsheet, graphics editor, database software, presentation software, photo, video, audio editing software, voice recognition software, and software suite. These all software can be called as software suite. And the first definition is system software. Software responsible for the general operation of a computer system, including the operation of hardware, running application software, and file management. System software. The next one is operating system. System software that acts as a go-between, allowing computer hardware and other software to communicate with each other. Operating system. The next one, word processing software. Word processing software allows you to create, edit, format and print documents, like Microsoft Word is a good example of such kind of software. Spreadsheet software. Spreadsheet software. Application software used to create computerized spreadsheets, like Excel. Database software. Application software that allows you to create an electronic filing system, like Microsoft Access. Database software. Presentation software. Presentation software creates slides used in a presentation, like PowerPoint, MS PowerPoint. Presentation software. Software suite. Software suite. Related software programs that are sold and bundled together, like Microsoft Office. Audio editing software. Audio editing software. Also called recording or mixing software. Your operating system may provide audio editing software such as Windows Sound Recorder, Pro Studio and Audacity. Audio editing software. Photo editing software. Photo editing software, a type of image editing software that allows users to edit and customize digital photos. And a good example is Photoshop. Video editing software. Video editing software, programs used to capture, edit and manipulate video images, add effects, titles and music to create studio quality video. Video editing software, like iMovie. Voice speech recognition software. Voice speech recognition software allows users to dictate text and enter instructions to the computer by speaking into a microphone. Voice speech recognition software. And now let's make a practical exercise. Let's have a look at these definitions here and try to match this words in the screenshot below. A scroll bar, right? It's A. Scroll bar. Menu. Menu. I think it's L, yeah? Minimize button. Minimize button. Minimize is F. Maximize button is G, right? Title bar. Title bar is B. Icon. Icon is K, right? QuickBoot.exe. Folder. Folder is J, right? File name. File name is, I think it is C. File name. Left hand pane. Left hand pane is I. Right, I. Tab. Tab is here and it is, I think it's E. Checkbox. Checkbox is here, D, and radio button is H. Right. Now let's have a look at this exercise and try to match actions in the left column to the results in the right one. Okay? Double click on the title bar and the window fills the screen. The window fills the screen. Click on a menu to open it. To open it. Right click on an icon to open a new menu. Right click on an icon to open a new menu. Slide the scroll bar down to scroll the window down. Slide the scroll bar down to scroll the window down. Click the minimize button. Click the minimize button to hide the window. To hide the window. Drag the title bar. Drag the title bar if you want to move the window. Select the icon and its background changes color. Okay, now let's listen to a help desk technician talking to an IT user. What information is the technician looking for?
Okay, so first, can you see computer in the left-hand pane?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, can you scroll up to the top?
Ah, yes. I can see it now.
Now, right-click on that and a menu will appear.
Okay.
Just select Manage. There may be a short wait, but a box should appear. Can you see it yet?
Not yet. Ah, yes, there it is.
Can you see where it says Storage in the left-hand pane?
Yep.
Just to the left of that is a little box with a plus sign. Click on that.
Yep, got it.
And a new icon will appear labelled Disk Management. Click on that and a list of your drives will appear in the centre pane. How many are there?
There are 2. Disk 0 and Disk 1.
I see. Now, just right-click where it says Disk 0 and choose Properties from the menu. Then, from the box that appears, choose the Details tab. Then you'll see a drop-down menu.
Yep, got it.
In that drop-down menu, select Install Date.
Just a moment while I look for it.
It's about halfway down. You'll probably have to scroll down a bit.
Ah, yes, here it is.
OK, thanks. What date does it say?
The 7th of December, 2011.
OK, thanks very much.
Okay, now let's try to help this technician to explain all these operations for the user. And let's have a look at our exercise number 5. And here we have to number our instruction in the order you hear in the dialog. And here we have the following phrases, the following instructions. Choose properties from the menu, just select Manage, select Install Date, choose the Details tab, just right-click where it says Disk 0, and can you scroll up to the top? Now let's listen to this dialog once again and try to find all these instructions.
So first, can you see Computer in the left-hand pane?
No, I don't think so.
OK, can you scroll up to the top?
Can you scroll up to the top? It's number 1, yeah? Can you scroll up to the top?
Ah, yes. I can see it now.
Now, right-click on that and a menu will appear.
Okay.
Just select Manage.
Just select Manage. It's number 2, yeah? Just select Manage.
There may be a short wait, but a box should appear. Can you see it yet?
Not yet. Ah, yes. There it is.
Can you see where it says Storage in the left-hand pane?
Yep.
Just to the left of that is a little box with a plus sign. Click on that.
Yep, got it.
And a new icon will appear labelled Disk Management. Click on that and a list of your drives will appear in the centre pane. How many are there?
There are 2, Disk 0 and Disk 1.
I see. Now, just right-click where it says Disk 0.
Okay, got it. Just right-click where it says Disk 0. Just right-click where it says Disk 0.
And choose Properties from the menu.
And the next one, choose Properties from the menu. Choose Properties from the menu.
Then, from the box that appears, choose the Details tab.
And then, from the box that appear, choose the Details tab. Choose the Details tab.
Then you'll see a drop-down menu.
Yep, got it.
In that drop-down menu, select Install Date.
Okay, the next one, select Install Date. Select Install Date.
Just a moment while I look for it.
It's about halfway down. You'll probably have to scroll down a bit.
Ah, yes, here it is.
OK, thanks. What date does it say?
The 7th of December, 2011.
OK, thanks very much.
Okay, great, it's done. And now let's try to practice a bit and try to explain with your own words for a user. Just imagine you are a technician and you are trying to explain to your user how to open a program. You can follow the instructions described here above, yeah, and explain how to open a program. The next one, how to save a file. Explain to your user how to save a file. How to change a program settings, and how to delete a file. How to delete a file. And for A students, you can also write an email explaining all the steps in the form of an email. Okay guys, now let's talk about our front-end development. This is rather a big and very interesting topic, which includes a number of items. First we will discuss the definition of front-end development, then we will move on to our tech stack and all technologies that can be used in this field of knowledge, and then we can go through the typical tasks and key roles of front-end developers, and at the end we will discuss a perspective for front-end developers, for those who are going to start their career here, or for those who are just thinking whether it is reasonable to start their career as a front-end developer or in the front-end development. Okay, now let's have a look at our definition. A front end is what you see and interact with. The front end covers everything the user of a software or website can see, touch, and experience. It means that it is everything that we can see on the display of our computers when we are browsing in internet or when we run our front-end applications on a computer. Or we can give another definition. On website, the front end includes content, posts, pages, media, and comments, design, and navigation. All these elements are referred to as front-end components. And another example would be the front end of database software where users can enter and display data. For example, you are working in a database and everything that is not referred to data processing is called front end or refers to front end. And now let's have a look at our tech stack, at core technologies that are used by a front-ender. And here we have to speak first about our foundations. And these are hypertext markup language, or shortly HTML, an abbreviation HTML, and another abbreviation CSS, cascading style sheets, and JavaScript as the basic tool of a front-ender, the basic language that is commonly used by front-enders. And to make our life easier, or to make the lives of a front-ender easier, they can use different frameworks and libraries such as Angular.js, React, Node.js, Express, jQuery, Bootstrap, which is actually a library of HTML and CSS templates. So we can use them for designing some ready elements on our websites or in our web applications. And we also have to mention our containerization platforms. It means Docker and Kubernetes. And what stands behind these two words is actually a very hands-on tool that helps us to deploy our applications, web applications, in a form of containers on different operating systems. So you don't need to develop a specific web application for every operating system or in different environments. And for this, we can use containers made using the Docker technology or orchestration of these containers in a form of big clusters using Kubernetes. But before we discuss all these elements, let's have a look at our foundation. And here we have to mention HTML, hypertext markup language, as the core technology, as the core foundation, which is actually a language or a set of rules used to make notes in digital documents that are different from regular text. It means we use this hypertext markup language for different elements of our websites, and for designs, for the design purposes, we can also use CSS, cascading style sheets. This is a style sheet language, or better to say, this is a number of rules or a number of ready templates used to create the layout, color, and overall style of pages you create with HTML. Instead of writing some individual code lines to change the color of your button or to make borders of your form, you can use ready CSS patterns, ready CSS templates. And of course, if we are talking about front end, the first word that comes up is JavaScript. And JavaScript is commonly used for making our websites. And this is a prototype-based, multi-paradigm, single-threaded dynamic language supporting object-oriented, imperative, and declarative styles. This definition may seem to be a bit clumsy, but it is a very concise definition that helps us to understand the general idea of JavaScript. Or we can say it simpler. In short, it is a programming language that tells the page what to do, where the pop-up messages shall appear on our page, when the forms will open, and when and which buttons appear on our website, and so on. All this kind of stuff is determined by our scripts written using our JavaScript language. And on top of that, we can also mention the AJAX, a combination of JavaScript and XML language. This is the so-called asynchronous JavaScript with XML. It is an approach used to update specific areas areas of a website without having to refresh the entire page. Sometimes it's very wise to do so because it makes our website work much faster. And now let's move on to our frameworks and libraries. And the most popular are Angular, React, and Node.js, while Angular is a TypeScript-based open source framework which is offered by Google for building web apps. If you make your web application in Google environment, it is reasonable, it is expedient to use this framework. We can also use our React library to build user interfaces out of individual pieces called components. So for example, we have a very big project. Of course, we can develop this website by using our cascading technology where one task follows the other one, but we can do this by distributing all the tasks among different teams. We may have a number of different teams and each team works on an element of the entire website, and then when all these elements or some elements are ready, we can embed them in our website as individual pieces called components. Sometimes it's very convenient and sometimes it's very practical for developing large-scale projects. And a kind of a bridge between the front-end and back-end technologies is our Node.js. It is an open-source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment, and we can use this environment to run our JavaScript programs, our JavaScript applications, not on websites, but as individual programs, individual applications. In fact, initially JavaScript was a language that cannot be used without website, but now we can see a shift where our website applications are used as individual programs, so ready-made software, which is coded in JavaScript language. And for these purposes, we can use our Node.js as an environment to run our JavaScript application not only on our website browsers, but rather as individual apps. Now a couple of words about our containerization platforms, and as it was already mentioned, we can see here our Docker platform and Kubernetes platform. These are the most popular platforms, while Docker is a tool that is used to automate the deployment of applications in the form of lightweight containers so that the applications can work efficiently in different environments in isolation. To put it shorter, using Docker, we can implement the idea of containerization. It means that we can run our applications in a form of containers, so we don't need to make too much efforts. For example, the same application for Windows, then the team works on the same application for Mac OS to adapt it to the requirements of Mac OS system and for Android. And Docker helps us to avoid this situation because our program can be run in all these operating systems in a form of a container. And to orchestrate or to manage all these containers, we can use our Kubernetes. Is an open source system for automating deployment, scaling, and management of containerized applications. In essence, it groups containers that make up an application into a logical unit for easy management and discovery. And there is a logical question that comes up: what is the main difference between Docker and Kubernetes? In fact, the main difference between these platforms is that Docker runs on a single node, while Kubernetes is designed to run across a cluster. And another difference between Kubernetes and Docker is that Docker can be used without Kubernetes, while Kubernetes needs a container runtime in order to orchestrate. So Kubernetes needs our containers made in Docker to manage them. Now let's have a look at major tasks that a front-end developer must do. So what does a front-end developer do? And here we can see three major areas of responsibilities. The first one are visual elements, UI designs, and UX designs. UI is an abbreviation for user interface and UX for user experience. So a front-end developer is responsible for implementing visual elements and UI designs that allow seamless interactivity with the web app. And the second task is to establish an effective coordination with full stack and back-end software engineers. It means that front-end developer needs to know some technologies and the overall idea of full stack and back-end development, because they need to coordinate and streamline server-side logic and front-end integration. And the third area of responsibilities is creating web applications. It means that front-end developers not only develop our websites, interface for our websites, but they can also develop individual web applications with a form and function in mind. Now a couple of words about key roles and distribution of responsibilities among these key roles. And the first role that we will discuss is a web designer. A web designer is someone who focuses on the visual aspects of web development, such as layout, typography, color, graphics, and animations. To put it short, it is a person who is in charge of all the designs here. On the opposite side, we have a front-end engineer who is responsible for all technical aspects of web development, such as performance, security, scalability, and compatibility. So web designer is responsible for designs, front-end engineer focuses on technical aspects, how to implement all these designs. And on top of that, we have our UI or UX developer as a person who combines the skills of a web designer and a front-end engineer. And this specialist, this expert focuses on the user's interface and user experience of web applications and websites at the same time. So it is a versatile professional. And now let's move on to the most sweet part of our discussion, a couple of words about perspective and whether it is reasonable to start your career with front-end development. And anyone interested in becoming a front-end developer sees a bright future. According to the last study, which was done in 2023, predicted that the United States would have a shortage of around 1 million developers. Just imagine 1 million developers. Okay, and the studies indicate that the situation will worsen for the rest of the world. It means it will worsen not for front-end developers, but for employers who have to find the specialists on a market where everybody needs these people. If we look at the statistics provided by the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, the web developer employment will grow by 15% between 2016 and 2026, which is significantly faster than that of the other occupations. And this situation is not surprising for us because there is a greater demand for user interfaces in mobile, and this will lead to more front-end developer jobs. That's why it is a very popular and a very promising area of your development, career development, where you can easily start IT career. It means if you are just thinking whether you can start your career here or whether you need any development here in this area, don't hesitate, jump in, and this is a very promising area. Okay, now let's talk about our next topic, back-end development and what stands behind this concept. And like always, we'll start with a definition of this term. So back-end development, also known as server-side development, refers to the development of the behind-the-scenes logic that powers web applications. Though it's a very strict and very concise definition, we can compare with front-end development to have a better understanding how it works. As you can see, front end is represented here by a car body, and this is what the users see, and it accounts for 20% of total efforts, while backend includes here an engine, wheels, all the machinery inside, and users don't see this. However, it accounts for 80% of total efforts, but it is repetitive. Backend development includes two key elements. The first one, server management. It means setting up and maintaining the site server. And the second element is database interaction, creating and handling different databases to store and retrieve our data. And if we go deeper into details, we can see here such main components as servers, this is the machinery, high-powered computers that provide the resources to run networks. We can also see here our databases as one of the components of backend development. These are the brains, MySQL, PostgreSQL. It is where all user data is stored. We have also here our middleware. This is the so-called plumbing or the thing that connect the front end and the back end. And if we write our backend code, we have to use our programming languages. These are the nuts and bolts, and the languages and frameworks as well as libraries are used to produce everything here. And if we are talking about the database and SQL, we have to give first our definition for database. A database is an organized collection of structured information or data, typically stored electronically in a computer system. A database is usually controlled by a database management system or DBMS. And some examples of the most popular database software include MySQL, Microsoft Access, Microsoft SQL Server, FileMaker Pro, Oracle Database, and so on. And for handling our databases, we can use our SQL language or structured query language. SQL is a programming language used by nearly all relational databases to query, manipulate and define data, and to provide access control. SQL was first developed at IBM in the 70s with Oracle as major contributor, which led to implementation of the SQL ANSI standard. So this is the core structure of our front-end development, database, and structured query language. As middleware, we can use different APIs, application programming interface, which provide a way for application to communicate with each other. And they may connect mobile applications, cloud-based services, web applications, partner applications, legacy applications, and so on. And as example, we can see our Google Maps with Uber inside, Uber embedded, so we can take a taxi using our Google Maps, while Uber service is provided in a form of API or through application programming interface. Here we can see our backend tech stack, all the backend or some of the backend languages and libraries like Python, PHP, Java, and so on. Frameworks that we can use here, and even JavaScript can be used for these backend development tasks if we use our Node.js. So there are many versatile opportunities provided by all these languages, and what language to select, it's up to the programmer, and it depends on the tasks that we have to solve. And if we are talking about front-end development, we have here a number of development approaches, and the first one is TDD, test-driven development. It means that we make repetitions of short development cycles and then create a test that fails, fix it, refactor it, rinse or clean, and then repeat. We can also use the continuous integration or deployment approach, and it means that developers integrate all their code into one collective several times a day. It can be verified by automated builds, allows for early detection of issues. And another approach is to use ready-made deployment services like Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. What are the advantages or disadvantages of back-end development? As advantages, we can mention that it needs code logic, backend can influence the experience of website users, logically it adds functionality advantage to front-end development, and can work in various environments. As for disadvantages, we have to remember that it needs protection. All data must be secured and well protected, otherwise we can risk to have a reduced control here, and there is little or no choice for automatic services here. So these are the advantages and disadvantages, and now let's move on to the most sweet part of this presentation, roles within this area and the amount of compensation in this sector. Like you see here, junior specialist, it means a specialist with 0 or 2 years of experience. They mainly do beginner level work, and they can claim 30 or 40,000 a year. Thousand of what? Euros, US dollars, yuan. So it depends, yeah, where the junior works, in which country. Mid has 2 or 5 years of experience, and he can earn 40 or 60, so within the range between 40 and 60,000 a year. And these are more competent and trusted than juniors. And the senior specialists have 5+ years of experience. They can earn from 60 or 80,000 a year. They are the most experienced of the base. Sometimes they can help train juniors and provide assistance for mid specialists. And as a rule, our team is managed by a lead. The lead is the specialist who can lead solo and cross-functional teams, and normally has more hands-on than managerial tasks. And a lead can earn 85,000 a year or more. And on top of that, we have our heads of engineering or vice presidents. These are experts with more than 10 years of experience, or 10 years or more than 10 years of experience. They can earn 100,000, 160,000 a year. They are more strategy focused. They can make technical decisions on languages, frameworks used, and they can also manage budgets, who gets hired, required, and so on. A very wide scope of responsibilities. So to put a bottom line, so if you are not a designer, if you are more inclined and more interested in databases, in SQL queries, and so on, and if you are strong in math and strong in algorithms, you can try to start your career in this area, and it will be very promising and very interesting area for you. Now let's have a look at the process of software development and listen to the first part of a conversation between two programmers talking about this code above, as you can see here, and which controls a robot using a mobile phone. After you have listened this dialogue, please number the variables in the order they are explained, like G turn, key press, and G move. What comes first, what comes next, and what comes last.
Now, to begin with, there are two main variables called G_move and G_turn. The first one, G_move, tells the robot which way to go, back, forward, or stay still. If G_move is 0, the robot doesn't move.
Okay.
The second variable, G_turn, tells it to turn left, turn right, or not to turn.
I see. So if G_turn is 0, it doesn't turn.
That's right. Now, look at the first line of the code here. It sets G_move and G_turn to 0.
Telling it not to move and not to turn.
That's right.
I see. And the next line?
See this variable here? Key_press? This has the value of the key pressed on the phone. So if you press A on the phone, for example, key_press has the value A.
And if I press the X key on the phone, key_press takes the value X.
Yep, you've got it.
Okay, great. And now let's put everything in the right order. And the first variable is G_move. This is an underscore, yeah? G_move. The second one is right, G_turn. And the last one, key_press. Key_press. Okay, now let's listen to this dialogue once again and try to complete the sentences below. After that, we can check our answers. The first one, if G_move has the value 0, the robot, what does the robot do? And if G_turn has the value 0, the robot, what does the robot do? Question number 2, right? And if you press X on the phone, key_press has the value. So what value has this variable key_press?
Now, to begin with, there are two main variables called G_move and G_turn. The first one, G_move, tells the robot which way to go, back, forward, or stay still. If G_move is 0, the robot doesn't move.
Okay.
The second variable, G_turn, tells it to turn left, turn right, or not to turn.
I see. So if G_turn is 0, it doesn't turn.
That's right. Now, look at the first line of the code here. It sets G_move and G_turn to 0.
Telling it not to move and not to turn.
That's right.
I see. And the next line?
See this variable here? Key_press? This has the value of the key pressed on the phone. So if you press A on the phone, for example, key_press has the value A.
And If I press the X key on the phone, key_press takes the value X.
Yep, you've got it.
Okay, great. And now let's complete these gaps. If gmove had the value 0, the robot, right, doesn't move at all. If g_turn has the value 0, the robot doesn't turn, right. And if you press X on the phone, key_press had the value logically X. Okay, that's it. Now listen to the second part of our conversation between these two programmers and which lines of code they are talking about.
Now, let's look at the if statements. See the 4 of them here?
Yep.
Now, the first one looks at key_press. If key_press is A, then g_move becomes 1.
In other words, pressing A on the mobile phone means that g_move takes the value of 1.
That's correct. And later in the program, we'll see that if g_move is 1, the robot moves forwards a step.
I see. So, looking at the next line, if you press F on the phone, g_move becomes 2, and the robot moves forwards 2 steps.
Well, the first bit's right, yes. g_move becomes 2, but 2 actually makes the robot move back a step.
I see. So, for the next one, if you press S, I can see that g_turn becomes 1. But does that make the robot turn right or left?
It turns left.
So pressing D makes it turn right.
That's correct.
And now, as you heard, they discussed different lines of code that are shown here on the picture, and they also discuss what each line of code means. For example, let's try to answer this, to explain this. If key_press equals A, g_move equals to 1. So it means if you press on your mobile phone the button A, your robot starts to move, right? Okay. If you press the button F on your mobile, it means that your robot makes a step back, right? Okay. And if you press the button S, your robot turns. And the last one, if you press the button D, try to answer this question without my hint. Now you can listen to this dialogue once again and try to answer what the robot does if you press the button D, okay?
Let's look at the if statements. See the 4 of them here?
Yep.
Now, the first one looks at key_press. If key_press is A, then g_move becomes 1.
In other words, pressing A on the mobile phone means that g_move takes the value of 1.
That's correct. And later in the program, we'll see that if g_move is 1, the robot moves forwards a step.
I see. So, looking at the next line, if you press F on the phone, g_move becomes 2, and the robot moves forwards 2 steps.
Well, the first bit's right, yes. g_move becomes 2, but 2 actually makes the robot move back a step.
I see. So, for the next one, if you press S, I can see that g_turn becomes 1. But does that make the robot turn right or left?
It turns left.
So pressing D makes it turn right.
That's correct.
Now you can say what happens if we press the D button or S button. Great. Now, after you heard all these dialogues, let's try to make our own practical exercise. And here, this is exercise number 2. Look at the section of code and the explanations and answer these questions. Question number 1. Find an example of a constant in the code. Find an example of a constant in the code. Question number 2. What do you think the value of x is after the third instruction? And here we have our code written. Let's read a short explanation. A is a variable. Okay. A variable is something that can change its value, which can be a number. Great. The opposite is a constant. A constant can't change its value. For example, here the number 3 is a constant, but A is a variable. 3 is always 3, but A can have any value an instruction gives it. And it can be 1, 2, 3 or any other number. This instruction gives it the value 3, which it keeps until another instruction changes it. Variables can have any name and sometimes variable names are quite long. For example, G_turn is a variable name. So you can have here a line of code, programming instruction to show something on the screen. Now try to answer these 2 questions. Find an example of a constant in the code and what do you think the value of x is after the third instruction. Now try to do it without my hints. Great job, guys! My congratulations, you have successfully completed our course. I hope it was interesting and helpful for you. If you have any comments or suggestions for improving the content of my course, you can write me in a private message via Telegram. Your suggestions and your ideas are always welcome. I hope this course will help you to find the job of your dream. Thank you very much and good luck!